Attacking from the shadows, the assassin confounds its enemies with quick movements and precise strikes to deadly effect. Mastered only by the Jinn, an assassin is an expert at stringing together their abilities to secure a kill. Adeptly employing poison for continual damage throughout a fight is just one step in the assassin's particular arrangement. Careful positioning is key for an assassin in order to initiate and execute their attacks well. Stealth stance renders the assassin invisible, enabling them to catch their opponent unaware to deal substantial damage. Decoy stance provides an array of talents to stack poison, lay traps, disable opponents, and counter their attacks, creating chaos and confusion before quickly changing back to stealth stance to disappear from sight. If an assassin is discovered unawares or caught out of place, they can be at a significant disadvantage, as their strength is in setting up the damage, not reacting to the environment. A well-seasoned assassin, however, can escape even the most difficult situations through advanced planning and a well-placed smoke bomb. Using stealth, poisons, and precise placement of positioning and ability, the assassin is the perfect class for anyone who wants to sneak in, unleash terrifying damage on unsuspecting victims, and then disappear again into the shadows. Brutal melee fighter. The Destroyer uses pure strength and a giant axe to decimate their foes. Only the Gone have the physical might and overwhelming fortitude to dominate as Destroyers. Fearless and bold, Destroyers drive into the thick of battle, leaving a trail of bodies behind and easily breaking any attempts to hold them at bay. Even when seemingly at their last breath, Destroyers can rejuvenate safely behind their shield before unleashing their devastating fury. The Destroyer can overpower any opponent, big or small, able to grab them, punch them in the air, and smash them on the ground like ineffective ragdolls, constantly shattering their adversary's ability to stand or even remain conscious. The Destroyer's skill allows for strong coordination with team members to punish opponents for their incompetence. The Destroyer is a powerful and tough frontline fighter who dominates the battlefield and leaves their opponents in the dust.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Blade and Soul North American Battle Brawl Qualifiers. It is day number 1, and we cannot wait to take a bite out of this juicy steak that is Blade and Soul Esports right in front of us. My name is Kit Fox. Thank you so much for being here. I know I'm having a great time. Hopefully you are too, and I'm joined by my co-caster, Gummy, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, Kit Fox. Doing great over here by myself, and I hope you're doing well off in Australia, as I know your time zone is very different from ours. So
that's right, man.
But hopefully today's matches are going to be lined up really well, and they're going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully we get some great games.
Absolutely. I mean, if you were on earlier during the day, as some of you may have been, there were the European Battle Brawl qualifiers, which actually didn't go too bad. A lot of the big names actually came and stamped their mark on the competition. But we'll just recap that one really quickly. The 4 teams from the EU qualifiers that we'll be going through are Bad Intentions, the Bold Cute Fan Club, Updog, and the Abusement Park. So that will actually be on tomorrow. That's day 2, just like the North American ones will be. So the top 4 teams at the end of today, Gummy, will be going through as well.
Yeah, that's really important to be looking for. So they'll be moving on over toward day 2. But then, of course, those 4 teams that do move over to tomorrow's tournament will be competing to get top 2 in order to fight at the live event in March. So make sure you're looking forward over to that and mark it off on your calendar.
Absolutely. It's definitely going to be one that you don't want to miss. There's a fair bit of prize going around for this one as well. That's been boosted by the sales of the Mr. Whiskers pet as well. So if you are playing the game and you want to make a contribution to Blade and Soul Esports, get yourself on over to the Hong Moon store, buy the Mr. Whiskers pouch, and every sale that one sells will actually go through and help boost the prize pool for the competition. So get involved with that one. But Gummy, we've got 8 of the best teams in the North American region today. They're going to duke it out. But the team that we've got seeded number 1 is generic name 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll just call them generic name, but they are anything but generic. You've got Duckball, Zach, and Virus in that.
Yeah, so a lot of really big names coming out here. So we got Duckballs, we got Zach, we got Virus. All of these players definitely really well known throughout the NA community. As of late, Zach has also been really known for his summoner play, but recently, actually, he's been practicing a lot more on that Warlock. So we're going to probably be seeing that a bit more out here, trying to maybe fit a little more towards his teammates' classes and make sure that their composition is a little more fitting coming into a tournament like this.
Yeah, the summoner, there's whispers going around that's sort of fallen off a little bit lately, with the recent buffs to the FM and whatnot. But hey, the summoner still has its own little niche, and more so than the gunner. But team number 2 that we're going to get into is Guardian. Now, this team is a veteran team that have actually been able to stay together for quite a long time, which is fantastic to see. That's DeBears, Ikini, and Sunshower.
Yeah, so DeBears and Ikini, both on Team Guardian before, they did really well. They obviously got to go all the way to Korea last year, so that's something to always keep in mind. They did actually end up swapping out Vape. Unfortunately, he was too busy and was unable to play, so they ended up taking in Sunshower. We can kind of start seeing somewhat of a pattern here, I guess, with the old members of Team Hurricane from last year, if you guys recall. That was Virus, Sunshower, and Yasuni, but each of them have actually split off into their own little teams, so we'll see them kind of sprinkled out among all the different teams in order to fill out certain roles. But yeah, definitely 2 players that have been together for quite some time, and Sunshower hopefully going to be able to fit that niche quite nicely.
Not a bad BD at all. Now, team number 3 is Lethal, consisting of Riven, Darken Master, and Ocean.
So Riven over here, is a Blade Master. Darken plays on both FM and Warlock, and Ocean usually opting for that Destroyer as well. They were in the regional circuit for a bit last year, adding in Ocean, though, this time around. But Ocean was on Team Guardian, actually, in the last Rumble tournament, if you guys remember over to that. So he has a little bit of a presence from there, so make sure you keep an eye out for him as well.
Definitely looking to stamp their mark. And another team that's looking to do exactly that is Dewey with Armor One, Cassis, and yes, again, big names, Gummy.
Oh, for sure. I can always leave it up to Yasuni to make such a creative name for his team. But Yasuni, of course, everyone knows him. He's the really big top dog Warlock here in North America. He's been around for quite some time. He's been pretty dominant on the class for who knows how long, just at least well over a year. You know, him and Ikea have been going toe-to-toe, I would say, for that most of the time. And then Cassis being another really great and prominent Blade Master in the North American region. But he has been trying to play a little bit more on that Blade Dancer as well, once again, to maybe fit the niche of his team a little more. And then Amor1, people have previously also known him as Aikido, which is another thing that he's gone by. And he's a really good Sin player. You know, you can't really count him out. A lot of people like to compare him with Virus. They're really the ones that kind of go head-to-head in these matches. So we'll see how he's going to be playing it out this time around.
Yeah, Cassis, former member of OWO. Let's see what he can do with the new team. Team number 5, though, Whale. You've got Sork, Ryan Dapple, and Caped Baldy there, Gummy.
All right. So under the information I was given, due to the tournament being pushed back, it turns out that Ryan Dapple was unfortunately dropped from the team. He was going to be the one gunner we had in the tournament, and now it's gone, unfortunately. So everyone's going to be a bit
put out your candles
about that. But coming on in, we have Gold Antidote, aka Arashel, coming in to fit in for his team, and Warlock Sork to play with Cape Baldi. Sork would be Sayuri, for those of you that have heard of him before. He was also in the regional tournament last year. So this is going to be kind of a team that's newer formed and newer synergized. I would say they haven't really played all together too much, so they're going to have to really show, you know, what they're made of if they want to come out on top here.
Well, they are going toe-to-toe with some of the best in the NA region. Team number 6 is Iron Monkey Trap. That is Iron Shock, Orbitrap, and Devil Monkey.
Yeah, Iron Shock, Orbitrap, Devil Monkey. So we got a comp here of Summoner, FM, plus Blade Dancer. So these three have been playing for quite some time. They're kind of always lingering around on the ladder. They haven't really been all into tournaments, though. You know, to the tournament scene, I would say all of them are pretty new for the most part. You know, even in local tourneys, they don't really play all too often. So it's really good to see new faces trying to come out and show that they can be maybe a little more dominant in this tournament scene.
Team number 7 coming in. You'll know the team name, but maybe not the players. A little bit of a lineup shake-up. It's Team OWO, currently lined up by Foxflame, Exoration, and 4.
Yeah, so right here we have Foxflame, Exoration, and Fower. All of them, Fower and Exoration, have been around for quite some time. I wouldn't say they've really played in tournaments, but you can always see them every now and again, I would say, on the ladder. Foxflame being a completely new face, though. Never really seen them all too much. So we'll see if their team's going to be able to swing it around this time around here in the tournament.
And last but not least, Team I Love Anime Reloaded is Pion, Nyanaconda, and Mary Go Round. How much do you know about these guys?
All right, so these guys definitely are, you definitely do see them, but they are, I think, obviously they're in the 8th seed. They're at the bottom right now, unfortunately for them. But that doesn't mean you can count them out, really. You know, they still have a really strong comp coming into here, and they have a lot of things to really think about and consider, I guess, when it does come down to it. They're running what I believe would be Blade Master into Warlock with the Destroyer as well. So they definitely have a really strong comp on their shoulders, and hopefully it's going to be able to pull them through and get some of these wins.
It's a very solid meta lineup, that one. When it comes to the 3v3s, expect those guys to shine. But speaking of I Love Anime Reloaded, they came in at 110 points. They're actually going to be featured in our first match, which we'll be bringing on screen very, very shortly against seed number 1, generic name 12345, who came in at 468 points. So while there might be a little bit of a point disparity there, I have no doubt that the composition of I Love Anime Reloaded can actually take it up to these experienced players of generic name here, Gummy.
Yeah, so that's really the big thing is, you know, it's going to be the experience versus the inexperience. And I said Pion was a BM for some reason. That is definitely a Force Master. My mistake on that earlier. But so the comps we're going to be seeing here, Virus on the Sin, Duckballs on the Destroyer, Zac on the Warlock, and then on the other side, Pion will be on the FM, Merry-Go-Round on the Destroyer, and then Nyanaconda on that Warlock as well. So both of these teams honestly having really strong and optimal team comps. I think a lot of the 3v3 team compositions, you're going to really have to be watching out for all of those Warlock players. The Warlock has been very, very dominant when it comes in terms of the meta lately, and I think that's going to be the really big thing, is seeing which ones are going to be playing better than the rest.
I mean, it has been for quite some time. You see across all the regions, Warlock extremely heavily favored. And then you go over to Korea, where Force Master and Warlock are sort of basically the top 2 over there. And I mean, the aerials are extremely strong, often countered only normally that we see in competitive play by the Destroyer. Once the Destroyer is able to burn down that Thrall, that takes away a lot of the Warlock utility. Then it's really difficult for the Warlock to launch those aerials, get that combo rolling. Here we go, we're going to get into the game. Generic Name versus I Love Anime Reloaded. Virus versus Beyond. Game number 1. Take it away, Gummy.
All right, here we go on in. Virus going with the C-Stun into the X just for some of that projectile protection, but it's going to be coming out of that force grip as well. The X-Dagger is down. Goes up with the Poison Breath combo, and now Peon kind of taking a lot of damage and sitting here. And
second
he
wind.
does end up using the second wind, but forcing going to be blowing that out here. But the Bull Check does connect onto the Frost Burst as well, and the aerial webbing will be keeping him held down as Virus tries to buy a little bit more time here for his Tab Escape. Shadow Slash not going to be able to get the re-KD, unfortunately, but does manage to connect out the stun into the hook kick. SS is going to be used, and no Tab Escapes are now available for Peon. Knocked to the floor, hit by the Bombard, but not going to quite take the CC, but is knocked down once again as well. And Virus cleanly take it out within the first minute of this round.
Yeah, 100-0 there in terms of HP. That was huge play coming out there from Virus on the Assassin, but Peon just really didn't have an answer. Unfortunately, that Web Mine combo was just causing all kinds of havoc there for Peon, but that's the first 1v1 done. Don't forget, it's going to be a 1v1, another 1v1, then a 3v3. And then should it call for it, we're going to go into the tiebreaker round with another 1v1. Just having a look at the top left there, you can see the score. That'll be updated throughout all the coming matches. So well done to the production crew for that one. But game number 2, Gummy, what are you expecting to see here?
So it really depends. You know, they all had to pick beforehand what they're going to go. So we're obviously not going to be seeing duplicates of the players. I think the really big thing here is that we're going to have to be thinking about who do they really think they're more confident in their 1v1 potential. So depending on what maybe Zach decided to play in his 1 versus 1, you know, he's probably really confident on his summoners. That has been his long-term choice of class. Whereas, you know, now with his Warlock, if he really wants to play Warlock in 1v1, we might not see him coming out all too early and too often, just because they might feel that Duck Balls has a better chance since he's been on that Destroyer for such a long period of time.
I mean, yeah, Zach, you said a fantastic summoner, but it happens to everybody. When you learn a new class, it doesn't matter how good you are, there is always going to be a learning curve. And Zach, fantastic summoner, might not necessarily translate over to a Warlock, but we can only hold our breath and hope and pray, and let's see what's going to be. It is going to be a Destroyer mirror match. It's going to be Merry-Go-Round versus Duck Balls as we get this one underway. And already you can see Destroyers just keeping distance. Now we go into the Ember Stomp straight away there for Duck Balls, trying to get the cleave combo going, but it's just a battle of the fidget spinners here at the moment here, Gunner. You can see them just going at it. And now Generic Name tries to go back in, actually gets a good stun off there. And Daze now Duck Balls into the grapple. Will he go for the wallbang play? Taking him over. No, goes for the throw. Another stun coming out here in this Hurricane combo is just looking good here at the moment. Merry-Go-Round just trying to dish it out, and is doing so, getting the slight advantage here over Duck Balls. Ooh, Hurricane again, trying to close the gap rather. Now the Typhoon, that's Red Spin. Spin to win is the name of the game, and Duck Balls taking a fair bit of damage. Oof! Great throw. Now another grapple tech coming out here from Merry-Go-Round, but broken out of by Duck Balls. Again, trying to close it, and Gummy, it seems to be a little bit of a fiesta here at the moment. Not much damage being taken. Iron Plating still up. Now you can see them trying back. They're still fighting on the Ember Stomp here. They need to be careful of that. Extra damage, not necessarily that needs to be taken. Now the Daze comes out here from Duck Ball, starts unloading on Merry-Go-Round. There it is, the judgment into the cleave after cleave. Mary's taken so much damage. And that is about a 50 to 60% of HP chunk there. Absolutely massive. Oof, stun coming out there. The side of Mary now. It's going to dish out some damage, but with only 3% HP. Duck Balls just needs to land one. There it is. Pile driver. Style points. See you later.
Yeah, it was really well played out there by Duck Balls. You know, we saw he was down on HP for a majority of that match, you know, sitting around that 60% mark for quite some time compared to Merry-Go-Round. But the thing is that was really crucial to look at was the fact that he had the advantage when it comes to the tab escape. You know, he had both of his escapes still up. Well, Mary just had nothing, and right there at the end, we saw he hits a really long burst and chain combos that just really wipes out the opponent's HP.
So now we're going to go into the 3v3, and should Generic Name pick this one up, they will actually go through with the win, and that'll be game number 1. Done and dusted. As soon as it started, it is over. A little bit of a tear, but hey, Gummy, we've got at least 9 more rounds coming today.
Yeah, there's a lot coming up, so make sure you're all sitting here in your seats and ready for many, many games to come. Just to go over quickly as well, another thing is we should maybe talk a little bit more about the tournament format and why there is 1v1 and 3v3s and what each of these mean for the teams. So for those of you that are new to the tournament scene, so we see here up at the score total in the top left, of your screen. It says 1-1 for both of those 1v1s, but here in the 3 versus 3, it's a really big thing to point out that 3v3s are worth 2 points instead of just 1. So the first team that reaches 3 is theoretically the winner. So if I Love Anime Reloaded does manage to get a win in 3 versus 3, they can actually go to a tiebreaker for that final 1v1 to reach those 3 necessary points.
Yeah, but they have to win this one, and that's a big ask here at the moment, given the way that Generic Name are playing here. We saw Duck Balls there drawing on that experience that he has. Yes, he was behind the 8 ball a little bit there at the start of that round, but, you know, he stayed composed long enough, baited out the wins, the escapes of his opponent, and then was just able to get that knockdown, and that's where the Destroyer is strong. Once he's got you on his back, he can just cleave for days, and you just watch your HP just disappear.
Yeah. That's the really big thing. So I guess looking in towards the team comps, we can kind of think about which ones might be a bit more dominant, you know, for the most part. So they basically decided to swap out the Sin for a Force Master. And which one do you value more? Do you value a Sin or a Force Master more in this kind of team composition? And they really both do have their own benefits. You know, a couple things to think about with the Sin is the fact that it is also a double tab escape class, but it also brings in blue buff. Whereas the opposing team on I Love Anime would not actually have that, unfortunately, for themselves. So they don't really have those big surprise bursts of damage that can really come in, you know, especially off of things like wallbang or aerials. So that's something to really keep in mind. But Anime Reloaded do have the Force Master, which brings in what I would say the better save compared to Sin's. You know, Sin usually does have the party decoy, but a lot of people really like to opt for those frost type effects.
And the other one that has a good sustainability factor is the Destroyer, with that iron plating that comes in that can save a lot of team members from certain death, and we've seen that a fair bit lately. I mean, the Destroyer often would like to come in and dish out the damage, but it's that defensive capability which we see him drawn on a little bit more often lately. So let's see if Duckballs, look, he's a very talented Destroyer, so I'm completely confident that regardless of what the situation calls for, he'll be able to deliver on that one. So my money is going to be behind Generic Name, but hey, I Love Anime Reloaded. They came out of the block strong in the first 2 rounds and sort of just petered off a little bit from there, but they've definitely got it in.
Yeah, so they definitely have to be really careful, especially since those sheath effects stack on the side of Randomly Reloaded, so they got to make sure they're rotating through that as good as they possibly can. But it looks like our 33 has started, and Virus off to a really fiery start, already getting half of his opponent's HP down here. X-Dagger is inside of his backside. Star is going to be down for his option of escape as well. The Vine Veil into the Frost Prison, up into the Frost Burst. Unfortunately for him, he's not going to be able to connect in onto that, and the LMB stun does come down for Virus while he's waiting out and having to swap out to merry-go-round early on. Having to do that early swap in the first 30 seconds of the game is not what they're going to be wanting here, but the tap escape will be keeping Virus safe from that ram and vacuum. Not going to quite get the connection here for merry-go-round. Unfortunately, Virus still having that flower available means he can escape from any of the CCs that might be coming up for himself, except for a knockdown, but Destroyer is not going to want to hit into that knockdown, especially with that ground counter. Time to go back to the flower is going to be getting that reset now here from the Warlock as well, and time distortion going off. Both tab escapes now once again available for Virus. This is where we see Warlock really showing why it's so dominant. Virus obviously had no escapes, and now he's got it all back and can stay in these remaining 40 seconds that he's got up on his timer. Ice Mine sitting off to the side, though, unfortunately for him, not going to be able to get that connection here, as merry-go-round's going to be walking toward the opposite side of the arena.
Mary's just going to play the long game here, I think. I mean, just wait for the regen to do its thing. And now you can see Virus trying to close the gap, going in there with the mist. And just breathe that one. Bit of a regen. Now the tagging comes out. Pion is the man who's coming in. Virus still is the one that's out on the field. Oh, great knockdown into the bombard. Oh, big damage from there from Virus. And Pion just takes it a little bit. Lotus goes down into the ice armor. So just buying a little bit of time now. 2 seconds till the mandatory tag out. That will be Virus. And in comes Zach.
Zach now coming back in on that Warlock, summoning up the Thrall, and Bastion is going to be kind of used, but not really going to get all too much use out of it. But the Sanctum will be able to buy him around another 10 seconds of time. So really big things to point out here as well. And the Anaconda has not quite been able to get in onto the match either, which is another thing to keep in mind, just because that means the time disruption is still available as this Warlock does come back in, but he actually bursts him out right there. That's that blue buff combo we were talking about. He dropped into Sanctum, wanting to save his ally, but unfortunately for them, they can still keep the targeting for a brief moment, and they don't quite need a target to deal all of their damage either. So right there, the save coming a little too late, and now we already see we're at a 2v3, and we're not even 3 minutes into the match.
Yeah, Corpion forced to watch from the sideline, dropped with a few assists in the back pocket as well. That's not going to be good at all for I Love Anime Reloaded. Now out comes the thrall there from Zach off his traditional summoner onto the Warlock. Time Distortion now goes down, and that just recoups a little bit of his cooldowns. Now the range game being taken out here by Merry-Go-Round. Makes a decision to close the gap. In goes Zach. Oh, Rupture narrowly missing, trying to throw it out from range. The thrall is still up, and we'll wait for him to fall in very, very soon. Vacuum, though, connects, and Zach is just being able to regen very, very sufficiently here, thanks to that throw. Now there's the aerial, the Helix and Salvo combo. See you later, Destroyer. In comes the Anaconda. It's going to be a Warlock versus Warlock battle. Both the distortions go down, and the Anaconda needs some sort of divine intervention here. 1v3 dummy.
Yeah, it's looking really grim here, especially with all these tags up for the opposing team. Generic Name just showing why they're so dominant, why they are the #1 seed coming on in the tournament. Brawl coming on back, trying to save his partner, but not going to be able to ball knocked up into the air, but the Thrall Stone will be able to get the connection, but it will sadly not be enough, as no escapes on the side of the Anaconda will mean his death.
And the death of his team in this game. So that is the 3 rounds that we need, ladies and gentlemen. 2 points in the 1v1s going over to Generic Name, as well as the 2 points in the 3v3. That's enough for them to secure the win and progress through to the next round. So congratulations to them. And congratulations to you guys, the viewers, as well, because if you like that, we've got a lot more Blade and Soul coming your way. But that was Generic Name defeating I Love Anime Reloaded. The next game, Yummy, before we get into the way and well, just want to touch on this one. Generic Name and I Love Anime. The way that Zach played that Warlock was fantastic. I mean, I was really interested to see how he was going to actually be able to pull it off. We questioned it, and boy, how foolish we were. Yep,
that's the really big thing. Of course, Zach showing that his practice is not for nothing. You know, he's obviously doing a lot, showing how much work he really can get done while playing all of this out. So that's really big for him, and props up if he can keep it up. I'm sure that they can go all the way through toward the finals.
So game number 2, ladies and gents, that we'll be bringing on your screen very, very shortly is going to be the Way versus Whale. Now, I'm excited about this one, Gummy, because the Way have got names like Cassis, like Yis, Armor One, and I'm interested to see how these guys play together as a unit. We know how well they play individually, but can that team cohesion gel together to bring them the victory?
Yeah, it's the really big thing. You know, everyone's kind of curious as to whether they are good enough to really show that they can be dominant. They're using a pretty good comp. I believe in their 3 versus 3, they're going to be coming with the Sin, the Blade Dancer, and the Warlock, which is a really, I would say it's the bread and butter. Everyone knows that this one's pretty good. It's like the standard where you kind of meet it. So that's the really big thing to kind of be thinking of. But Cassis is still pretty new to the Blade Dancer. For all we know, he could still be coming in on the BM. I don't think he's been practicing quite as much as Zach maybe has on that Warlock. So there's a lot of things kind of up in the air and what they will be doing. But hopefully their communication, as you said, is on point, because that's what's really going to matter here in the end.
Up in the air, Warlock. I see what you did there. No, I definitely see what you did there.
But at least someone's watching and paying attention.
Hey, if you're a betting man, who would you put your money on coming into this one? I mean, you've got Sork, Ryan. Ryan is no longer in this tournament, and Kate Baldy as well. So that Gunner, did you say he was replaced by an FM?
It was replaced by a Destroyer.
Oh, Destroyer.
Yeah. The same thing, you know, big giant person, axe, you know, smaller person with a little bangle. Might as well be the same thing, because of course they both have frost effects. That's the really big thing that they're both known for and what they really do here. So it looks like our match is already lined up, and we have our matches here. So in the first 1 versus 1, we're gonna actually have Amor Juan, aka Akito, if any of us do happen to call him by that, versus Arashel. So we're gonna be having Des versus Sin. What do you think about this?
This one's a tough one. I mean, this is really one of those matchups that can go either way. Normally, you look at some matchups and you think, oh my god, that's so stacked. How is this even legal? But then you've got Destroyer versus Sin. I mean, yeah, the Sin, you could argue that he deals less damage, but more over a shorter space of time. The Destroyer is slow and cumbersome, goes in for the big hits, the big dunks. So, look, I reckon you're going to have to go maneuverability over big hits. But having said that, if the Destroyer can actually bait out both of those escapes from the Sin, bait the Lotus, bait the reversal, and then get the knockdown, the Sin will just melt, get carved up like a Thanksgiving turkey, and there's really nothing that they can do about it.
Yeah, it's a really big thing that you kind of have to be careful of. You know, as the Destroyer, they have a lot of ways to really resist the CC and the chain combos that do come out from the assassin. You know, you got things like Ember Stomp, CI Frame, Stone Shield, etc. The list can keep going on. Red Spin, blue buff, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is that a lot of the problem for Destroyer, I would say, in this matchup is just the simple way that Des can kind of get stuck in these combo chains as well if they're not too careful when they are using these. You know, things like the Body Stop can easily get them off of the Ember Stomp. You know, the Sin can keep them KD'd off of the web, so it makes it really hard to use the blue buff. So there's a lot of things that they really have to kind of have the foresight if they really want to make sure that they're playing this right. And it looks like we have their teams right up here, and it looks like Cassis is going to be on that Blade Dancer.
Interesting, interesting. I would have liked to have seen him on his trademark BM, but hey, let's see what they can do. Kate Baldy, though, is not looking too shabby over there as well for Whale. So Destroyer, Warlock, and BM. So keep your eyes on that one. Should be good. But Armor 1 and Ashale going head-to-head. This one will be good. Like you said, that web can really sort of bait out and leech out, I suppose is the correct term, of all of those abilities, especially that blue buff for the Destroyer. I mean, once that's up, it's nasty. Oh,
for sure. You know, you have to be really careful when you're trying to figure out what you really want to do, just because if Sin can kind of get these KD combos as well, we have to remember that they have Bombard. Bombard is a really deadly threat. You know, a lot of people have been opting to use that. The old anti-cancel combo has really kind of gone out of flavor, and they just opt for this really big burst-oriented belt. Finally on back, and I'll give it over to you, my good friend.
Straight out through the ground counter as well, the good old Bombard. But hey, let's get this one underway. It's Horatio going against Armor 1. Oh, already the Ember Stomp goes down from the Destroyer, and Armor 1 on the back foot loses almost 30% of his HP straight off the bat there, but the smash is down for Horatio as well. So the cooldowns have been burnt, the escapes are still up. Stealth from Armor 1 now has been leashed, and this grapple is just nasty work here from the Destroyer. Takes Armor 1's assassin down to 70%. And we are only 30 seconds into the round now. The stealth comes out. Lotus of Escape has been actually used, I believe, there from Armor 1, so only has the retreat available, and now gets in one of those knockdown combos. Fire Mine goes in, no web. Hold up at the moment. There's the Bombard and the Poison Mist, though, and this is where the Sin can be dangerous. Into the aerial now, into the mist, just breathing that one up. Web for good measure, and it's looking good here, Gummy, so far.
Yeah, it's definitely looking really good here. I would say for the Sin, for the most part, they only have that persistence left up for the Destroyer, but honestly, I don't think persistence is going to be able to match the normal tap escape of the Sin quite as easily, just because it's easily abused if they get their nice knockdown combo. But Airshell actually managed to get that shield slam to force out the escape a little early. Really big for them. Now they are kind of even in terms of those cooldowns, but the vacuum right there, pivotal. It's really important that he can get that to land, so the fact that Akito manages to dodge it means he can stay in stealth ever so longer, and Airshell's not going to be able to quite pick up the combo quite as quickly. We do see here Akito, no escapes, and Dust is coming on back up here for the Destroyer as well. So his escape is down and available, but Airshell has lost half of his HP and is most definitely losing out on damage here.
That Fire Mine just causing Airshell all kinds of problems. And KD, oh, there it is. This is what we're talking about. The Bombard into the Poison Breath again. Bombard and Bombard. It's just cannonballs out here. Airshell now 7% HP. Does get the knockdown and buys a little bit of time. Would this be it? No, the escape is good coming out there from Armor 1. But wow, 30 seconds now ticking down. Now, sorry, 1 minute ticking down here. This one could go to time, but Armor 1 will have something to say about that. Whiffs the Bombard, but lands that one, and that is the round. Well done there, the way they take one advantage here in the 1v1 coming.
Airshell nearly almost being able to turn it around. Right there at the end, we saw if he managed to keep that CC chain combo going, he would have been able to keep it. But unfortunately for him, he was way too low on HP. And all it takes is one click of that right mouse button, and he is done for. So Keto will be able to pick up the win there for himself.
So that was great. I mean, the knock-up web combo, like you mentioned, Gummy, you called it before the game even started, was really causing problems there for Destroyer. But the shield slam was one that actually caught my eyes there to get them out of that recovery, which was pivotal in terms of turning the seesaw play. Erasure would have been done and dusted right then and there, but the Bombard value, Gummy, that's all I can say.
Oh, yeah. For sure, you know, Bombard is really worthwhile. It does a lot of damage. It also gives decreased move speed, which is another really big thing not a lot of people talk about. You know that Sin has a combo themselves that allows them to make it so you have virtually 0% move speed? That's a thing from Sin, which is kind of bizarre because Bombard stacks up to 3 times for 60% total, and then something like X Dagger into you, and you're just stuck. You can't move. You're basically stunned, but you can turn around and do a couple other things. So that's another really big thing, is that Sin really likes to throw a lot of disables onto you, and it really kind of impedes how you really want to play out the match.
Yeah, the tar pit, the Sin tar pit, we'll call it. That's game number 1. We're going to get into game number 2. Gummy, this matchup, I mean, who do you like better in this one? Do you like the Way or do you like Whale Whale?
Honestly, I'd say it can go either way. Yasuni is the really big top contender when it comes to being a Warlock, so I think that's the big thing to be watching out for. We'll see if he's going to be able to bring it out this time, but we see the standard block off between Warlocks in the opener. Both Thrall's not getting summoned out, and the Imprison is down as well, but Thrall will be coming in for the stun and force out that Thrall swap as well. Bastion already being popped here by Yasuni, and the guard broken here for Sayuri, unfortunately, but he is going to be able to get that time distortion up first, and Yasuni forced to use Thrall swap and knock back up into the air immediately, dropping down to half HP. Does still have his time distortion available, though, over his opponent, which is really big to be looking out here for. Sanctum down on the field. Sayuri opting to wait to use his, does decide to pop that Bastion instead, and time distortion now going up for Yasuni. But we do see here Sanctum just getting thrown on in, and the Repulse cannot get through the block here, and Yasuni on a seeming back foot for the most part here. Bastion will be able to keep him alive as the leash comes on in to break his guard once again, and Yasuni opting to just deal some more damage out of combo, but the Thrall's going to be forcing out that tab escape once again, and Yasuni's down.
He is struggling. The leech is down as well. Meanwhile, Sayuri has got that waiting in the back pocket just to unload on his opponent once he catches him there in the combo, and now it's just the slow game here. Sayuri just chunking Yis down, keeping it ticking over. Yis really needs something here. He needs to land one meaty combo just to turn the tide in his own mental state here. At the moment, he's behind the 8 ball. Now he's been caught out. No, he manages to get away. He does have the second win available very, very shortly. Now it's up, but he's got 30% HP. Once that's down, it'll be GG. Sayuri now is taking a fair bit of damage, and already these guys, they're just shooting lasers at each other. Pew, pew, down goes the Sanctum. And that'll buy Yis just a little bit of time here, but at 21% HP, now Sayuri times Yis. And it's just very mirror match stuff coming out here at the moment, Gummy.
Yeah, it's a really big thing. He's got to be careful with the Imprison. Does connect, and it saves him from actually getting aerialed out here to try to finish him off. The Voidwalk is now back, so he can't use his Thrall swap if he needs to save himself. But unfortunately for him, he's down to 10% HP. Sayuri now playing on the back foot, and he does get that time distortion first, though, and he launches Yasuni down. It's going to be the win to bring it back to a 1-1 here.
So this one will be the teller. Whoever's going to take this 3v3 is going to walk away with the victory here, Gummy. So that was interesting. I mean, I really didn't expect that from Yis. He was caught, on the back foot extremely early, and from then on, he just didn't look like himself. I mean, props to Sayuri. He played out of his mind there. For
sure, he was playing it really well, but the big thing here is that Yasuni, it did kind of seem like he was lacking a little bit more than what he usually does bring. Right down the early game, we saw Sayuri coming in and just really dominate early on. So I think that's a really big thing we have to be kind of careful for. So hopefully Yasuni can get it in their head and kind of pick it up, especially with the big match coming up with the 3 versus 3. There will be no tiebreaker anymore. Whoever takes this is the victor for this match.
That is it. First to 3, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of score. The 1v1 only needed if one team wins 2 1v1s, and then the other team comes back in the 3v3 with the big backhand and says, hang on a minute, fam, we are not done yet. But regardless, the Way or Whale, let us know. I mean, I can't really say at the moment. I mean, did a little bit of a disappointing performance there from Yis, who'll be looking to bounce back from that one, but I'm really excited for the Way to unleash Cassis, Gummy.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to see Cassis. We obviously haven't seen yet from Whale. That's going to be the really big thing, is Cassis able to really play up to par as he's going to need to be. It's going to be really pivotal because, of course, the teams are made of 3 players and everyone has to give in their equal and fair part. So hopefully he's going to be able to show that he can really dominate more on this Blade Dancer, just simply because BD has some of the best saves in the game. So you really are playing more team-oriented rather than yourself.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, like you said, the Cass is usually on the BM. Now playing the BD, we've seen a lot of well-known players actually go off their comfort role. I mean, we saw Zach from Generic Name. He was playing the Warlock there, and he played it very, very well. This time, Cassis off the BM, onto the BD. Similar yet different. Let's see how they go. But the opening 2 is going to be Armor 1 versus Sayuri. Sin versus Warlock. Take it away, Gummy.
Okay, so here we go, waiting out to see. They're just dancing around, jumping up into the air. We're going to see who's going to be able to get that initial hit from the opposing sides, as both actually get CC, but unfortunately there for Aikido, he's just going to blow his tab, escape his tether blade. Going to be a little bit more better than that suppression from body swap. Now waiting, playing back. He's dashing on in here with that infiltration. Does manage to get the KD into the web as well. And now Brawl waiting off toward the side, but actually going to give that free decoy here since auto-attacking on into the bar. We're dropping a little more for some of that damage as well. Going back, Aikido needing that reset as Yasuni drops on in. The time distortion coming down to help out his ally a bit more. But we see the PvE damage. Sanctum, we can't target you, but it doesn't mean we can't deal damage. It just knocks them down, throws bombards. They don't require targeting, neither does the poison breath. And we see Sayuri already down to 41% HP, and Aikido still having one escape up with that Lotus of Escape.
It's just waiting there to be used. Sayuri just caught on the back foot here at the moment, but that Lotus is smack bang in the middle, so before that even gets used, Armor want to be looking to create some distance there. Good body swap coming out though, and this is where the Sim can look absolutely dangerous. Oh, the tag in now coming for the assist. That is Sayuri. Erasure now is the one to tag out. Sayuri gets a much needed reprieve now on the sideline, but still it's Armor 1 in there for the way, just dishing out the hurt. Now Ember Stomp going down from the Destroyer. Racial Bombard comes in for good measure from the Sin, and now he breathes deep. But another good body swap here from Armor 1 into that Fire Mine. Actually catches a Racial out there, being a little bit too aggressive. But with mandatory tag out coming in 2 seconds, Gummy, it'll be Yes to come in and take the reins.
So right here we do see Yasuni jumping on in. It's not all too big of a deal if he had to blow his time escape here. They got that save from Cassis to come out, and time distortion could be coming up in, I would say, anywhere between 32 seconds to a minute. So he should be able to get it back just in time, and he does still have that Void Walk available to if all too needed. So right here he's going to get knocked on out of that Sanctum as well, but we do see them coming on in. Yasuni using that Void Walk to avoid his opponent, and Cape Baldy having a really hard time on these interferes. He's already blown through 2 of them and hasn't gotten anything off for the most part. So I think the really big thing is Airshell needs to try to stall out, buy himself some time. We see the Stone Shield going to be saving him out there from that time distortion coming down from Yasuni, and the Bastion up and available once again. Airshell's going to have to be careful of meeting all the PvE damage here. Does end up getting knocked back here by the aerial block, unfortunately for him. Now 2 on the side of Whale. Whale are dropped down to half HP as Baldy gets dropped on in, and I can tell you right now, Blade Master does not want to be on the receiving end of this matchup here. He's going to have to be really careful as his HM block is already broken. Having to play back does end up assessing toward his opponent. He's going to have to maybe play a little more aggressive if he wants to get anything out of this. He does go up with the aerial here from the Heavenly Dance as well. Flock of Blades is available. Trying to come back in as well. But Thrall not going to be able to come up in time here to give him any sort of reset, as Yis takes a lot of damage out of those Dragon Punches.
You're in the Sanctum, but like you said before, it doesn't matter. You can still take some damage. Oh, big hits coming out there from the Searing Slash. Forces Yis to tag out with a sliver of HP left, and that'll bring back in Armor 1. Definitely the MVP here so far for the way. Straight into the Bombard tech, not wasting any time at all. Now into the aerial combo, and Web for good measure. This is supreme textbook play here coming out from Armor 1 here on the Assassin. Now in comes the Destroyer with the assist there onto Kate Baldy, utilizing that iron plating. Blitz to connect now. Erasure comes back in to duke it out with the Assassin yet again, and Whale just playing reactive Blade and Soul here, Gummy.
Oh yeah, for sure. The really big thing though is that he's so low. Look at his HP over there. He is going to heal a little bit because he did end up swapping out, but at some point in this game, he's going to need to get some healing off. I think a Heal Sanctum, or maybe even a smoke out from the Sin.
Oh, cliche.
A little bit. Could be really big, but we did see here as well, Aikido does have his ultimate up and available, as well as Cape Baldy. We could see a really big surprise burst of damage coming out really soon. We see Yasuni once again is coming out to get some of that healing. We see the Heal Sanctum come on down. Chi Smoke, and look at that HP from literally like near the depths of death at like all the way back up to half HP. So really big there that Yasuni can get that healing just so he doesn't die on one of these.
Oh, the bombard going in again. It actually catches out Erasal a little bit, but looking at the HP disparity here, Whale are definitely pushing a boulder up a mountain when it comes to workload. They really need to get some of those heals going. They need to do exactly what just happened there, but there's no assassin on the side of Whale, so that is really going to cost them. Now, Ember Stomp goes in the smash as well. That's big. Now, Armor 1 is just going to sit back there and breathe deep in that smoke. He will tag out now with the mandatory time. That'll bring in Cassius, the man we've all wanted to see here on the Blade Dancer. What can he do? It's not his favorite BM, but he'll go in with grip nice and early. Oh, before the wallbang can come out, in comes the tag, and Sayuri calls in the boys, and Kate Baldy and the rest come in for an assist, but it's not enough. It saved a lot of damage in the end there, but Cassius was looking to unload there, Gummy.
Yeah, this is looking really bad here for Whale, actually, just for the simple fact that Erasal no longer has any tag outs, and Caped Baldy no longer has any assists. So it's really on Erasal that gets these good and clean saves. What we see here, MR1 just going in constantly with the PvE damage. Bombard. Sayuri down to 2% HP, and he's forced to swap out here, and they're on their last swap of this match. They don't get any more here.
It's not looking good. 4 minutes left in this game. Before we go down to time, let's see if Whale can last that long. That is the real question here. It'll be the Way's game to lose here. They'll be looking to close this one out. Now, Yis comes back in. Oh, in goes the Leech. That is big damage coming out there from Yis onto Kate Baldy. Actually forces out the second win there. Without that, that would have been certain death. In goes the time distortion Sanctum, and the assist now coming out here. Calls back in Sayuri for the exact opposite of his own. That Sanctum time distortion. Oh, very nearly caught out there was Kate Baldy. He's just looking to unload here. Baldy now is in trouble. Oh, the tag though comes in, but in comes the throw with the claw. The iron plating just in the nick of time there, Gummy.
Yeah, right there we saw the Warlock ultimate coming out, and it forced that quick tab swap so that it wouldn't be targeted onto Kate Baldy anymore, but they're so dangerously low, and nobody can save Erasal here. If he loses these 2 escapes, he is a dead man, as on the other side we do see here. Cassius does still have 3 assists, but he is in, but MR1 having 2
interference chances are
having 1. Interferences are going to be coming back, though, due to the 3-minute mark coming on in, and barely going to be coming back in, but Cave Baldy, unfortunately, not going to be able to get a great save, as all of them look to be around 30% HP, with we do see the persistence coming back on out from Erasal as well, going with the defense completed hit the ground counter, but the tap escape is going to get blown, and Erasal no longer having escape, and he can't swap out for another minute. It means he's going to be getting aerialed up here. Cassius maintaining the damage. Lightning Draw can't come down, but it actually ends up deciding to go for the swap due to the interference out from Sayuri, but that means no more tag-ins into time distortion here, and Erasal still on this problem of having no escape. It's a really big thing. He does manage to get the body swap off of the Ember Stomp and the poison breath. Finish off Erasal here.
Yeah, good night, Erasal. Now Sayuri is going to see the same fate, and the Lightning Draw coming out there in the assist from Cassius. No, in comes the Thrawn now from Sayuri. Is it going to be enough sitting there in the Sanctum? But there's so much damage here from Armor 1 now into the stealth. Calls in Yis for the assist, throwing down the time distortion of his own. But yes, he does secure the kill there onto Sayuri. It's all up to Kate Baldy now. He's got a 1v3 in front of him here with 1 minute and 50 seconds left. Oh, big damage coming out here from Kate Baldy, just dashing through here now into the Searing Slash. Flocker Blades is out. Armor 1 now just healing back up away from the Searing. 15% HP from Kate Baldy. It's only a matter of time now. Can Cassius close it out? Yes, he can.
Yeah, right there we saw at the end he had to blow his tab escape due to getting trapped in the Sin combo, and he's just going to be all too far out due to it being a 1v3 right there at the end.
Big clutch plays coming in there in the end there from Yis and the boys from Team The Way. And that will be game number 2 of the Blade and Soul NA Battle Brawl Qualifiers. Gummy, I mean, I really like the way we're able to play that one. You mentioned earlier that they're not playing with their core here at the moment because of the delay. They actually had to swap out their gunner and bring in that destroyer, and maybe that cohesion is just lacking a little bit there, and that's why the way we're able to come over the top there.
It's a really big thing to be thinking about. Team communication is really key, especially in those moments where you're taking such big bursts of damage. You know, it's like you got to be in the save. You got to know when I need help. You got to know when to come in. You got to know when we can also go maybe more offensive to try to get those big chunks for ourselves.
Yeah, well, let's see if they can do that. I mean, they're not done completely out yet. They will be going down to the losers bracket. So Whale, they will have themselves another crack, another bite at the cherry to get their fingers in the pie, but it's going to be difficult. Meanwhile, The Way they are sitting pretty. Like kingbugs.jpg,
Oh, sure.
feet are up and everything. They are looking very, very good. We're going to take a quick look at that bracket for you. You can see their generic name now going through. And with that victory, the Way coming out with the win over Whale. So Whale, they'll go up against I Love Anime Reloaded, who lost to generic name in the first round in the losers bracket. But the next game is going to be Lethal versus Iron Monkey Trap. Now, Iron Monkey Trap, I don't know any of the players, I'll be honest. Iron Shock, Orbitrap, and Devil Monkey on that side. But Lethal looks good. Driven, Dark Master, and Ocean as well.
Yeah, so the Lethal definitely being a more well-known team, I would say, for the most part. So it's one to maybe be kind of thinking about. But I honestly think it can maybe kind of go either way. But honestly, in terms of team comp, I like Lethal's way more just because it uses Warlock and Destroyer. Inside of Iron Monkey Trap, they do got that all too prominent FM, and then as well as BD, that's always really good for its save. But they don't have reset capabilities. I really want to point this out. This is going to be really big, and it's really on. I would assume they would use either Devil Monkey or Orbit Trap in the opener, that they get the advantage, because if they get behind, time distortion is going to be buying a little bit too much time here for the side of Lethal.
Yeah, it's massive. That's why you see most teams run a Warlock, at least in their 3v3. There's not many staple picks when it comes to a 3v3 composition, but if you had to put your finger on one, I would probably have to say Warlock for that exact value. The Sanctum being unable to be targeted, as well as the time distortion, which brings back your cooldowns, and being able to use those on an assist as well. You combine that with the mist that we saw there on the Assassin. Yis had, I think, less than 10% HP, came back in, blew all the cooldowns, and came back up to half. That is how you do it.
Yeah, it's really big. There's a lot of ways you can use time distortion. You can use it to heal, you can use it to get back escapes, you can use it for offensive capabilities. There's just so many things that you can do with it, and that's why, honestly, in terms of utility, it is the pinnacle right here in BNS 3v3.
So let's get this show on the road. It is going to be Lethal and Iron Monkey Trap. If you haven't done so already, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you follow Blade and Soul Esports on Twitter for all of the news and updates when it comes to all the competitions going around in both the EU and the NA region, as well as Korea and whatnot as well. So make sure you go over to Twitter, give them a follow, because NCSoft doing fantastic work. And if you are a player, make sure that you get your hands on that Mr. Whiskers pet, because that will just boost the prize pool as well for all these players and yourself if you are one of them. So you give a little, you take a little, everybody's happy. It's all mutual.
Oh, yeah. So then coming in here, though, looks like we finally have our lineup all written down and ready to go. So right here we have Ocean versus Orbit Trap in the first matchup. So we got Des versus Summoner. I wouldn't want to be the Summoner here.
No. Ever. Wouldn't want to roll a Summoner, period. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. Some people will argue that Summoner can be maybe pretty good against Warlock and the 1v1, and maybe even Sin as well. But against Destroyer, not a chance. No way.
Yeah, once the knockdown is out, I mean, Summoner seriously lacking in the escape department. Once that's down, I mean, it's tough. It is going to be tough, but let's see if Orbitrap has got what it takes. All the roots going out nice and early, but OCN was having absolutely none of it. But this is where Orbitrap can dictate this fight. You can see the Bumblebees doing so much damage at range already. OCN just needs to close the gap here, because if Orbitrap is able to keep this one at a distance, it's just going to be a bad time for the Destroyer. But you can see Ocean going nice and close with the Typhoon, with that red spin, trying to close the distance. And the Rumblebees are so strong here from Orbitrap, who's come out of the blocks firing, Gummy.
Yeah, it's really big here. We see the Destroyer actually having no tab escape, which could be really big, but obviously both sides not having it.
There's the Summoner.
Anyone's game, as he doesn't actually go for the grab, he's just going to go for the free combo. And now goes for the grab, trying to save their owner, but he's waiting out, buying time for that Fury. So you get a really big damage combo. We see the Ember Stomp coming out down to the KD, and the Power Slam for the KD. No F-roll, no escape. Cat can't save you because it can't see. You are done for as the Summoner here.
My God, man, did it just get hot in here or what? After that backstep was down, the Summoner was just served up on a silver platter. The Cat could not do anything, and that is exactly what we were talking about. Once the tab escape is down, you've got absolutely nothing when it comes to survivability from the Summoner, and the Destroyer will just catch you and literally, like a lumberjack going at a log, splits you in half, and poor old Summoner just has a bad time. And as quick as that round started, it was over, and Lethal with a convincing 1-round advantage.
Oh, yeah. So it was the really big thing, obviously. Again, I really don't think he had a favored matchup going in. Summoners dread fighting this matchup just because Destroyer has so many ways to resist CC. You know, the only thing that really ever affects them would probably be knockdowns. And thinking on it, just, Summoner does not have enough knockdowns. You know, Ankle Biter can get 2, but it only gets them off 1 time. And after those are gone, it's like, what are you going to do against the Red Spin? What are you going to do against, you know, Red Buff? What are you going to do against Number Stop? There's so many things they have to be so careful for it. Honestly, Orbit Trap just had the odds against them there in the first round. But let's move on forward. We got Dark versus Iron Shock.
This one will be interesting. I mean, Warlock versus Blade Dance. This one could go either way as well. I mean, if the BD can target down the Thrall, it'll be an extremely different fight than what we're used to seeing. Let's see what Iron Shock has when it comes to skill capability. We can already see the same thing going down there from Dark and Master. Throw out a couple hits, but is caught by Iron Shock. The force script, not bad at all, but this is where Dark and Master can just unload into the aerial combos. Didn't deal as much damage as he would have hoped there. Regardless, it is enough. And now there's another one that's 2 in a row, and Iron Shock has gone down to below 30% HP. Dark and Master is not done yet, and finally, the slick win comes out from Iron Shock. Gummy, huge place to start from Dark and Master.
Oh, for sure. You know, Dark and Master here, he's really got a big lead, but we see Iron Shock trying to come back on in as the Thrall is down and unavailable briefly. He does manage to strike out. That type of script is not going to get that branding in on him, but he has to be really careful for the leech cooldown here. If he lands that leech, it could very well just end up meaning the game. Dodges the KD to the blade as well, and it is opting for the back, but unfortunately gets the lightning drop, but just managed to get the R&B stun connection to force out that Void Walk. Leech coming on in though, and here comes the aerial Iron Shock. But again, Leech was cooldown to watch for, friends.
It was, and the Thrall went in, don't need no Sanctum, and poor old Iron Shock there just struggled. I think he lost a lot of value when he whiffed that lightning draw at the end there, just got a little bit too trigger happy there. He saw his glimmer, he saw like the little crack appear in the door, and his eyes just lit up like dinner plates. Unfortunately, it was just not enough, and he dropped the combo, and from then on, he caught the back of 2 Salvo Helix combos from the Warlock there. And from then on, it was really difficult because when you lose 70% of your HP on 2 back-to-back combos, not only does that dull your chances on the field, it dulls your mental game as well. I mean, you just got, damn, I've just been king hit like hard twice, and now I have to come back from that. Yes, Iron Shock did an okay job. I mean, he didn't actually, you know, wait too long. He thought, you know what, I'm taking this and I'm rolling with it. And then like a Bull C and Red went straight back in, tried to close the gap. Warlocks, that's where they're strong, those aerial combos, and now all that stands between lethal and a total victory is a 3v3 matchup.
Yep. So it's the really big thing. You know, I think lethal is showing that they really are dominant over their opponents right now, so it's looking pretty grim here for Iron Monkey Trap for the most part, so they got to be kind of careful coming on into this. Otherwise, they're getting knocked down to that losers bracket, and of course, the climb through losers is a lot longer than if you want to try to get through the winner's side here.
It is. That's why you want to be getting these early wins under your belt, just so you have a little bit of a cruisier run going through to the finals. Not only does that let you recoup and regenerate, it allows you to sit back and watch your potential opponents as well. You can take notes, you can craft strategies, and then you can then implement those strategies in your own gameplay and try and take them down. It's a mental game as much as it is anything else, and that's why I love Blend Soul. You need to time everything, even your wins, to buy yourself that breathing room, that wing space, I like to call it.
Oh yeah. So again, going back on into it though, the team composition, I still like Lethals more, man. And being down 0-2 is going to be a really big, you know, mental block, I'd say, for them. They're going to have to try to really think through what they're going to do. You know, is the Summoner actually going to be worth them taking here, right? Like, was this a good choice? Was it good? Was it bad? They have a Warlock on the opposing team. Maybe they can counter out the Warlock somehow, but it's going to be really tough.
It is, but let's see what they can do. They're not down and out yet. Iron Monkey Trap, if they take this one out, Gummy, that will keep them alive, and then we'll go over to the 1v1, the first 1v1 tiebreaker that we will have seen all day. Regardless, I mean, we are only in the in the third match here, and this one's just flying through, but let's get it underway. 10 minutes ticking down, and already BD Iron Shock, definitely the shining star here for Iron Monkey Trap, going into the force grip nice and early, dealing the damage out to OCA, and great ankle biter there to get the knockdown. Sorry, Soaring Falcon connected too, but Ocean is just too good here to use the Perseverance, so that is now down, but in comes the assist, and Iron Shock gets deleted!
Yeah, so right there we see the wallbang from the Destroyer. This is why you take it. Big burst, Blade Master has pretty good damage, you can follow up quite a bit, but we saw Devil Monkey come in, try to save his ally. You can't do that.
And almost died as well.
Yeah, it doesn't work. For those of you that don't know, so Destroyer wallbang, it knocks you against the wall, applies a suppression effect, right? And anyone that drops in as an ally will get hit by that suppression effect as well, so you can't actually save someone from it, so it's better that the person in tries to play around it, but we do see here, they're trying to come back, Devil Monkey healing back up to full, and they did manage to bring Ocean back down to half, but you're already down a teammate in the first minute of the game.
Filthy wallbangs coming out there from the Destroyer, but now in comes Devil Monkey. We mentioned how close he was to going down as well. That wasn't only a frag there, Gummy. That's 3 assists and 2 tags out that are not going to be able to be used now for Iron Monkey Trap. That is monstrous in terms of momentum shifting. But now Dark and Master tried the aerial combos, but Devil Monkey came back in, and the Meteor Storm was just able to just distract Dark and Master a little bit there from the combo that he was unloading. But now in goes the Thrall. Devil Monkey needs to be careful. The Thrall is doing a lot of work. The Force Master doesn't have a lot in terms of sustainability, but now in goes the combo from Lethal. Dark and Master tried to close it out. The second wind is forced out from Devil Monkey. So it's not bad at all there if you're a Lethal fan. Dark and Master with the advantage here.
So right there we do see he does have the lead over his opponent. The Summoner is going to get dropped in, a little bit more sustained heavy, but they are going to be swapping out to their Destroyer. And now flashbacks over to the first round of this set. Ocean looking to take the victory over his opponent, but he does have blue buff this time around rather than that Fury for the bonus damage. It's looking really bad here for Orbit Trap side, as Devil Monkey is still pretty low, and he's going to have to try to carry out his friend on the back foot. But we do see the ice coming in here for the Frost Sheath. The time distortion going off here for Ocean as well. He's going to get a rather large shield. He goes in with the shield slam. And again, no reset available for Orbit Trap. Right here, we're seeing a setup once again of the same from the first round. The Beacon is going to come in, but the blue buff will be able to save him out this time around. But Devil Monkey now stuck on in, already caught in a CC chain and eating damage. And this is not looking good, as Devil Monkey is on their last swap for these remaining 7 minutes in this game here.
Still 2 assists though from Orbit Trap to come in should he decide to. Oh, the Searing Slash comes in and deals a lot of damage. Devil Monkey now taking a lot of damage, but the Ice Armor comes in just in the nick of time, because that would have been certain death. But regardless, the tag out now must happen. In comes Orbit Trap again to duke it out with Ocean, the Destroyer, and that'll be 33 seconds that Orbit Trap is just going to try and limp his way through here. But the Rumblebees from downtown doing lots and lots of damage. The Entangling Roots as well for measure. Power Pounce is up, as well as the backstep as well. So it's not all bad here for Orbit Trap. He does slightly have the seesaw advantage in this fight. Now in comes Riven, the Blade Master. The lunge goes in and connects, and this is where the Blade Master can be just extremely dangerous. Oh, the dashes through are so good. The Lightning Surge is strong, and Orbit Trap down to 9% HP. Needs to get some of that Summoner sustainability, is unable to find it, and Riven secures the kill. In comes Devil Monkey. Will that be it? Yes, it is, because the assist comes in from the Warlock, and Lethal with the clean sweep, just taking it to Iron Monkey Trap there going.
That's the really big thing. We saw once again the Summoner is not going to be able to do all too much. Early on, it's just really big sustain. That's how you have to do. You have to have a really slow-paced team composition. And right there, we saw they had to turn it on early on because they lost someone so fast. And the fact that he tried to save his ally as well just meant it was pretty much game from there.
They almost lost 2. That is what worries me. That Destroyer wallbang is nasty. And we could see, I think it was about 10% HP that was left. And I don't care what team you are, if you lose 2 of your members within the opening minute of the round, you may as well just throw in the towel right then and there.
You have to blow so many cooldowns. Being down in the 2v3 early on is really hard to claw your way back from, just simply because it means you're down 2 swap outs and 3 assists for the rest of the game. So that means
which are massive.
Yeah, that's really big. Not being able to rotate between the 3 players, the buyout time for cooldowns is really big, but they kind of have to be careful for it, just simply because that means if your opponent has it over you, they're able to force more and more cooldowns out of you. So that means your neutral game really has to be on point. And again, we saw at that one point, Destroyer versus Summoner. Summoner has such a hard time in the neutral against that Destroyer, so it was really big for them there. they had to manage to keep their Blade Dancer because he is the one that saves them from those situations.
Congratulations to Lethal. They're going through to the next round there in the winner's bracket. So who will their opponent be? Well, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned to find out because we have got Guardian versus OWO going head-to-head. Two veteran teams here of the North America region here through Blade and Soul. They've been here since the inception almost. And, I mean, these players... big names. Have a look at that. Ikini, De Beers, Sunshower on the side of Guardian. Met all those guys. Fantastic people. And on the side of OWO, you've got Exoration, Fower, and Foxflame. Gummy, who do you like in this matchup?
All right. I like Guardian. They're the team. Went all the way, or, well, two of them went all the way to Korea together. The other one was actually on the other North American team. So all of them have been there at some point in time. Both of them really well known, and both of them are really good and on top of their A game. Sunshine definitely critically known as one of, if not the best, Blade Dancer probably in North America, and same with the Bears and Ikini, really top of their game. So it really is one of those triple S tier teams, I would say. They have to be really careful of. So OWO has a lot to work towards, but they are bringing in one pick we don't usually see, which is the Soul Fighter.
We don't see that a lot. I mean, look, you could argue that Soul Fighter is more viable now than it was, say, a year ago. I mean, there's been a few changes and tweaks, which has actually made Soul Fighter a little bit more viable. But still, I think there's a reason why SF isn't as much in the meta as, say, your Warlock or say your Destroyer for that, because it doesn't have as much utility. I mean, you've got the Warlock who can come in with the Time Distortion and the Sanctum. You've got the Destroyer, which can come in with the Iron Plating and the Stone Shield as and potentially other things. I mean, the Soul Fighter, he doesn't really have that much. I mean, yes, I mean, you could argue that you get the buff, but other than that, I think that's really the extent of his limits.
Yeah, the big thing I would want to throw out is the strong point, if you want to bring a Soul Fighter, is its ultimate. Undeniably, I would argue Soul Fighter has one of the best ultimates in the game for 3 versus 3. But does that mean it's worth taking? Ults obviously have to take a lot of time to charge up. They have to go really far into the game. You don't get them off all too often. But the ultimate itself is really, really big if you want to go in on these aggressive comps, because it's how you save your allies, you heal them up, you change their HP, and they can just be really tanky, so they can kind of take all of those hits out of their ally. But is it really worth, bringing it in? So I did say it's probably one of the best ults out there, but what other ultimates do we have that can really bring to the table? We got things like Sin Ultimate, which does a lot of damage, which I think is really big. It's also really fast. We got Blade Dancer Ultimate. A lot of the other ones are just sheerly damage. So in terms of utility, I'd say Soul Fighter is on top of the A game when it comes to these ult abilities. But is Soul Fighter's neutral game, when it's in, are its saves, is its damage enough to really make it worthwhile?
Like you mentioned, the big thing is the time factor. I mean, is there enough time in the bank for the Soul Fighter to get that ult up and then to be effective? It's like, like the draw 4 that you have up your sleeve. I mean, you only play it when you really need it. It's like all the conditions and all the things that are 30 and fall into place. And then once that happens, it's GG's from there. But let's get this one underway. Guardian and IWO, Ikini versus Exoration. To get things underway, and already you can see the storm coming out there from, the frozen tundra coming out there from Exoration, the Soul Fighter. In goes Ikini though, and deals 40% of juicy HP to Exoration here in this 1v1, and now landing the Dragon, Helix, and Dimensional Salvo combos, but the Glacial Storm coming out there from, the Frost Storm coming out there from Exoration was enough at the time, but Ikini is just so switched on, lands the Leech as well, and Exoration down to 8% HP, 2% good night.
What happened? He didn't even get to fight him that whole time. That was so unfortunate. So Exoration trying so desperately to even get back in, but has such a hard time. We saw he did manage to get the opener. He knocked him back, kept him off, but he didn't even use his tab escape. That was the really unfortunate thing.
Yeah.
He found a really great time in playing around that Sanctum. Honestly, I would have liked to see it maybe played a bit better. The Ripple Punch onto the ground Ripple, there we go, would have been preferred to maybe knock his opponent out of that rather than the Frost Storm, because it's such a critical cooldown. And honestly, Ikini was just like, Okay, I'll just shrug it off. That was the big thing. I got time distortion still. The damage doesn't matter too much. I can just escape out of it. It really isn't going to matter there for him. So unfortunately for Exoration, he just couldn't get that early game edge that he really needs against the Warlock.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think that the Soul Fighter versus the Warlock was the best matchup for it?
No, I really don't think so. If you're playing Soul Fighter, I think it's kind of hard in 1 versus 1s for you. Honestly, against a lot of the top classes, this is a really big thing. He would have much rather fight something like this Sin so that he has really knock their opponent out of stealth. But speaking of Sins, we have our mirror coming up here. We have the Bears versus Flower. Flower already going to get used to the stun coming up from Bears, but he does manage to connect out the body swap, but no mine, unfortunately, just barely on the edge of that, but type of skip is still available for him. And we see once again the Bombard's coming on out, and Flower already down to 30% HP and only 1 escape left. And already blown out. Does manage to get the daze, and Bears getting the connection. X-Stealth for that LMB stun, trying to find his opponent. X-Stealth will be saving Power out, but the mine keeping his opponent off. Does manage to land a Shadow Slash. Bombard will clean it out, and Bears showing why he is the top Sin in this match.
Already, Gummy, we've had 2 games from 2 international representatives.
Oh, yeah.
And there has been a massive skill disparity. You can already see how much it means for these players to be able to go over to Korea, play on Korean pings, execute Korean combos, and then sort of bring that back over here to NA and mesh it back into their own style of gameplay. We've had less than 2 minutes of gameplay in this round, and already Guardian are 2-0 in terms of points here. Gummy, they look dangerous, but in a very, very good way.
So I think the way to put it is here, though, is are you really that surprised? You know, everyone, of course, wants a good underdog story, but OWO, man, they've just like, there's like a 10,000-foot brick wall in front of them. How are they going to get over this? You know, the really big thing is these players have been around so long. There's a reason why they're the second seed, and there's a reason why they are so dominant. OWO is going to really have to show something with this Soul Fighter comp in 3 versus 3.
Do you think, judging by what we've seen, I mean, the rounds have been over super quick, do you think that there is enough time? Do you think OWO can build a wall for long enough to utilize that Soul Fighter ult?
Well, let's just say there's always enough time whenever you got a Warlock on your side. I would say for the most part, you got it. You got it. You got the joke. But that's the really big thing to watch out for, is if they're going to be able to play around it properly. And I honestly think that the resets on the side of Guardian are a bit better for the most part. You can never go wrong with resetting Sin. This is the other really big thing, is that Sin is also another really strong class that we haven't really highlighted all too much. But the reason why it's being so strong right now is because Warlock can give these advantages. Sin having one of the best neutrals, if not probably the best neutral in the current meta game, to really be looking out for, in a lot of ways to kind of combo out. And of course, having 2 escapes. But the best part of all, both those escapes reset with time distortion, which is really big. You know, a lot of classes don't really get both of their tab escapes back with time distortion. Warlock being itself, it doesn't get its second escape back, and same thing with Destroyer. And I think that's a really big thing to be watching out here for, is the fact that Sin, they are ever so slippery.
The synergy it's amazing. But like you said, I mean, OWO, they've got that wild card up their sleeve. They really do. But Guardian, they are just a force to be completely reckoned with. I mean, they'll be looking to come out and just make ground beef out of OWO like they're absolutely nothing. And it'll be a fast game. It'll be a quick game. And if the long game can be drawn out by OWO, that is where they'll be able to stamp their foot down and probably try to choke out Guardian. But this is do or die for them now. Yes, they've still got the second chance, but they will go down to the losers bracket, and they are going to go up against some big names in there. They want to be able to stay in this one.
Yeah, all right. So that's the really big thing to be watching for here. We're going to see, actually, I'm kind of curious who they're going to be opening with as well, just because the opener is always really important. I would say the side of Guardian, they're going to definitely go with Sin. Sin's just always the staple. Bread and butter. It's one of the best opening classes, I would say, up there with Destroyer, Blade Dancer, and Force Master being the other ones they really like to opt for in the beginning. So we'll see. That's probably going to be coming out from their side. But on the side of OWO, I'm really curious. Maybe they'll try to open out with the Soul Fighter, see if they can really play a massive power and aggressive comp around him in the opener, because we have seen similar things like this, but it's really all up to them what they're going to be going for. Here we go, Kid Fox, take it away.
It's going to be Ikini versus Exoration to get things underway. That is Warlock versus the Soul Fighter. Let's see how this one goes. I mean, we know how it went last time already, the Burning Tundra going down. And no damage onto Ikini. But hey, here comes Exoration. Actually lands a few good Frost Palms there. And now the assist comes in. And Exoration, though, the tables have been turned, taking a fair bit of damage already. You could see the Blade Dancer being called in their Sun Shower for the assist. The Lightning Draw comes out now as well, and Exoration now on the back foot. In goes the Thrall, and that's the aerials we're talking about. It's 100-0. See ya, Exoration. And OWO have lost a man straight off the bat. Power has extremely low as well, and now Foxflame taking chunks. This is disastrous here, Gummy.
All right, as we see here, Guardian in a tier of their own. So Exoration having such a hard time. And of course, we saw right there, the Warlock tried to come in. They already used their Maelstrom. They already tried to save him, but he already took too much damage. Foxflame couldn't do anything there in that first save. And then when Power came in, saved him is not enough. It's not going to save you from an aerial. It's really hard. You're going to take so much damage. And right there, we see the fault here. Guardian already up. First, what, like 40 seconds or so. Exoration's already out. They're down pretty much all of their primary damage and burst. And now, all they have left is a Warlock and a Blade Dancer that likes to save and stall out time for cooldowns. And you know what? They just really are not going to be buying time for cooldowns, especially with a Blade Dancer and a Sin still being on the opposition.
Oh! They lost their, like you said, they've lost their trump card. They've lost that Soul Fighter. They've lost that ultimate early. They're about to lose power as well. And yes, he has been taken out by Sun Shower. Now in comes Ikini. Sorry, he's out. It's now DeBears who comes in with the mandatory tag out. It'll be C versus BD. And this is where DeBears is strong. He goes straight through into the Bombard.
Ice Mine.
Not bad Ice Mine there coming out there from DeBears. And now he's just toying with Foxflame here. Just toying with him now at the moment. Dashing through. Trying to find something here. The hook kick comes out there from him, lands well. Foxflame's just not doing too bad, I must say. He's lasted a little bit longer than we thought so far, but he's got no assists, no tag outs. It's him against the world, and, well, it's going to be a massive, massive struggle here. DeBears tries to close the gap, but Foxflame, he's not going down without a fight. He's swinging left, right, and center. He might have no legs. He might be down to his knees, but he's trying to punch the kneecaps here of DeBears and the rest of Guardians. 19% now, 18 ticking down here. It's spin to win strats being employed. Not really many body swaps going on here, which I've noticed on the side of DeBears, which Virus, on the other hand, was throwing out turning leash like they were going out of fashion, like they were hotcakes at McDonald's. 25% HP now comes in. There's the aerial. Good fight, OWO. And a convincing win there from Guardian in the end, Gummy.
Yeah, so right there we see Guardian showing why they're top team. You know, that's how it's going to roll. And unfortunately for OWO, they're going to be knocked down to the losers bracket. But Guardian will be proceeding forward in the tournament. Really well done out there by them. The aggression's going to win out every time. We saw the early tag-ins for the damage, and against the Soul Fighter being a one escape class, he didn't even get his escape off. Unfortunately for him, he actually got untappable, I think, off of that kill aerial, which is kind of unfortunate there for him. And you know, losing that out early on, he didn't get time to build up to that Soul Fighter ultimate that he needed.
Yeah, well, that is the first 4 brackets, ladies and gentlemen, that have been done and dusted. So Guardian were coming out with the win there. We'll have a look at the bracket on screen now. Game number 1, we saw Generic Name going up against I Love Anime Reloaded with Generic Name with players like Zach with Duck Balls, Virus, playing fantastically. They took the win convincingly over the 8th seed. And then game number 2 was The Way versus Whale Whale. And Whale Whale actually didn't do too bad. They leveled it up at 1 apiece in the 1v1 rounds, but The Way came out strong in the end there in the 3v3. They'll go up against Generic Name in the next game, but Lethal and Iron Monkey Trap was a strong performance. Lethal coming out dominant there, and then Guardian versus OWO that was just on stream then. You could see Guardian with 3 out of 3 players with international experience making short work of OWO. But Gummy, like we mentioned, it's not all bad. Those teams that did lose are now bumped down to the losers bracket, as you can see there on your screen now. So they've got themselves a second chance. They've only got 1 tab escape left, and it doesn't reset.
Oh, yeah, that's the really big thing. So they're going to have to be really careful what's going to go on. If you lose here, you're out. You're donezo. You're done for, and you get last. Nobody wants to be last.
Nobody.
So that's going to be a sad day. But, of course, we're going to have to take a quick 5-minute break, everyone. We'll be getting right back on into the action in just a little bit. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be back into the Blade and Soul action in just a moment. And it looks like we are finally on back. Kit Fox looking stylish as everyone over there. We are back from our brief 5-minute breakdown. I hope you guys are all ready because we're going to be jumping down to the action in the losers bracket. You might want to straighten those on a bit better, buddy.
That's it, man. But deal with it. Deal with it. That's all I can say. And I'll tell you what, that is exactly what Guardian was saying to OWO in that previous match that they were in. I mean, they made complete short work of them. But that is all of the opening games all the opening rounds for the day. We're going to go now into the winners bracket final. The winners bracket second round. Not quite final yet. We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. Generic Name versus The Way are going to be the two teams that are going head to head now. I am frothing at this matchup here, Gummy, because you've got Duckballs, Zach, and Virus going up against Armor One, Cassis, and Yasuni. And I mean, that is, if you're a Blade and Soul fan, every single one of those names would have just perked your ears up, made their hair on the back of your neck stand a little bit, because you know what these guys can do. And it's going to be like two Raging Bulls just clashing heads. It's going to be amazing.
All right. I think that's how it is going to be, but I believe we're starting out in losers bracket.
No, we're going to the winners one. We're going to the winners bracket grand final, according to the sheet I've got here, Matt. We're going to go over to the winners bracket set number 1. So, yeah.
Wait.
On screen, it does say I love Anime Reloaded versus Whale Whale. So we'll just get a confirmation of that one. Yeah, so we've got a little bit of a mismatch of information going on here. I love Anime Reloaded has popped up on screen. But we've got winners bracket in front of us here. So that would have been Generic Name versus The Way. So we'll just get a little bit of confirmation. It's going, there it is. It's going to be I Love Anime Reloaded versus Whale Whale. So apologies for the confusion there. That is what has been set in stone. It has been written. It shall be said. Let's go.
All right, so we're going to have to be looking out here. So both of these guys definitely going to have to kind of show what they can do. So Whale Whale, I honestly want to say up against their matchup in the upper side of the bracket, they are the one that managed to pull back some points from the opposition. So I think they're probably the favorite, more or less, to come out on top here. So we'll see if they're going to be able to bring it all together. And once again, I Love Anime Reloaded is a really new team. They are just completely fresh to tournaments. They really haven't been in them all too much since before this. But a couple of more known players like Arishel and Sayuri, I would say on the side of Whale and Kate Baldy being a pretty new ally as well. But I think that their communication and teamwork might have a slight edge over their opposition.
Well, let's see. I mean, like we said, it is going to be the losers. So whoever loses this one, that's it. It's GG's. You're out. You're done and dusted. And like you said, nobody wants to go away with last place. But hey, a lot of these teams can go away with their heads held high because of the fact that, hey, they're here. They're giving it a crack. They've qualified. They're at the Battle Brawl. There's a lot of players, a lot of teams having a look at the standings that actually didn't get this opportunity. So regardless of your positioning, you're definitely up there in terms of skill and stature in North American Blade as well.
Yeah, so that's the really big thing to be looking out for. So now in terms of 1v1s, they're going to have to be really careful with who they're throwing in first or second. I already know Destroyer is not going to really want to fight the Force Master, and as well as the Warlock. It kind of can go in that Destroyer favor if they can't get that really big red buff burst, but I know that Warlock on the opposing side can also deal a lot of that PvE damage, which Destroyer can't be somewhat vulnerable to. So they have a lot of choices to really be coming in here. And as for 1v1s, I'm kind of curious if maybe they will throw in Kate Baldy, because Kate Baldy can maybe do a bit better against Peon with the Blade Master versus FN matchup. So it's really anyone's guess what they're going to be throwing in here for the most part.
Yeah, Nyanaconda as well is going to be one to look out for on I Love Anime Reloaded. But you're going up against Sayuri, who we saw was definitely a force to be reckoned with there on the Warlock. And I really wouldn't be surprised, Gummy, if we did actually see that Warlock versus Warlock matchup, just because of, it can really go either way. It's one of those ones that's not stacked at all. And it often comes down to, who is the better Warlock? Who has got the better timings? Who's got the better macro play? And who is just able to bait out the escapes and skills more so than their opponent, land those aerial combos, land those leeches, and then just melt face. So that's why I wouldn't be surprised if we did actually see that. But like you said, I mean, anything could go here. There are certain matchups that you kind of want to shy away from, but these two teams with a lot to play for will definitely be wanted to come out, hit the bricks running, all guns blazing.
Yeah, so that's the really big thing to be watching out here for. We'll see if they're going to be able to really pull it off, but it looks like in our first set here, we're going to have Peon versus Sayuri, so we're going to actually have FM versus Warlock. Take out this opener. Go ahead, my friend.
Well, they're taking the ranged game to a whole new level here to start things off. Nobody has landed any abilities at all so far. Out comes the Thrall from Sayuri, so a nice composed start to this game. Oof! There's a cheeky little shot coming out here from Peon, just lobbing artillery from downtown. Tries the Phantom Grip for good measure, didn't actually land. Sayuri, though, with the Thrall all the way back there, be looking for the fall in. There it is, the swap goes. And, well, this game, a bit anticlimactic so far, Gummy. Now, finally, we can see a connection comes in. This time it's from Peon, but in comes the Thrall from Sayuri. Just to buy a little bit of time, Ice Armor comes out. You play there, in there from Peon, just to buy a little bit of time. Inferno's still available for him. Meanwhile, Leech down for Sayuri.
Yeah, it's really big cool enough to lose, and the Thrall is already gone as well, so Peon managed to be able to wait out that Thrall up there, but it is going to be coming back up, and we'll see if he's going to be able to deal enough damage into this Divine Veil. So of course, that's trying to be one of the safer cooldowns that does save you from the RMB of Warlock. Now being thrown up against the wall from that Force Rip, now being pushed back by the Dragon Charge on the wall. Just being able to hold Sayuri in position for quite some time. He's going to be dropping him down to about 80%. More or less, the aerial trying to come back on in, but he does manage to get a combo combo with the Brawl Q here, which means opponent back, and we do see the Frost Prison now coming on out to try to buy him some time, but he is still down at half HP, and guess what? Sayuri over here has all of his cooldowns back.
Yeah, the Inferno is just waiting there for Peon as well. I mean, once that gets unleashed, he needs to set up Sayuri for it, though. It's not just one that you can go throw out and hope for the best. It needs to be set up well. All the ground ruptures coming out, and well, Sayuri now, this is where he can shine near the dimension. The Dragon Helix comes out. Oh, but a good Frost Burst coming out there from Peon there. Just buys a bit of time, actually catching Sayuri and that is valuable seconds in the back pocket for him. Now we're down to a minute, and this game could go down to damage here. Both of these guys just taking it very, very slowly. A composed style of plays here. Phantom Grip now coming out, and Sayuri's caught. But will it go for the wall bang? Yes, straight up against that wall. And this is where it's dangerous here for Sayuri. Oh, but the second whip now, it has been used. This is lots of damage. Piona has nothing to answer, and that is a great backhand there from Sayuri.
So definitely really going on in his favor. And again, the Warlock has a lot of damage in those aerials, especially when they can get out of the Divine Veil. That's the really big thing, is that the FM tries to stay in their Divine Veil, but if they can't, there's just going to be so many helixes and RMBs going on. It's just, your HP's gone, bud. Sorry.
Yeah. Blink and you miss it. And it's gone. Good night, HP. So that is round number 1, going over to Whale. I Love Anime. Still, that was only the first 1v1. They'll be looking to bounce back hard here. Who do you think will be going head-to-head in this one game?
Yeah, so that's the really big thing. When coming up into our next game, it looks like it's going to be Anaconda versus Aeroshell. So we're going to be seeing that Warlock versus Destroyer matchup. So Destroyer technically could go either build that they want, if they want to run the blue or the red buff, but I think we're going to most likely see that red buff. He's going to try to go for the cheese, try to kill out that Thrall early as possible, because if you can avoid time distortion altogether, there's so much weight off your shoulders.
Yeah, that's cooldowns that you just don't have to deal with. I mean, Sanctum is another one. If you can just deal, untargetable, but you can still take damage. So like you said, PvE skills will come into play here. The Destroyer, I mean, Ember Stomp is one that comes straight to mind. It doesn't deal huge amounts of damage, but it can sort of just make the Warlock think just that little bit about positioning. I mean, especially once the Thrall placement is out, the popular strategy that we do see is the Destroyer bursting down the Thrall nice and early to get that advantage. Once the Thrall is down, that's a lot of utility, a lot of knock-up down for the Warlock. But let's see what Anaconda can do.
Alright, so here we go. Aeroshell going out. He was so aggressive in the opener to connect the ram. Is already burned out here as well. And he's actually using that red spin in here as well, just going for that stun, trying to get the connection. Does manage to get it out and getting so much chi back up that CI frame, manages to connect out the extra as well as so much damage. And guess what, Anaconda? You don't get any chances. You don't get your reset. You're going down immediately to the retro beta cancel on Aeroshell. He literally just went in 30 seconds. I don't know what else there is to tell you.
That is how the Destroyer defeats the Warlock. You do not give the Warlock any room to breathe at all. You want to be like a boa constrictor wrapped around your opponent and squeeze the life out of him. That is exactly what the Destroyer did there. And Whale, they know that as a team. And I Love Anime Reloaded, unfortunately for Nyan, was just, like we said, no room at all. Couldn't get the Thrall down, couldn't get the time distortions, no cooldowns, no resets, and then the HP just melted like ice cream on a summer's day. It was unbelievable. So Whale now, all they need to do is take this 3v3, and then they're going to be going through, and poor old I Love Anime Reloaded will be bowing out in last place.
Yeah, so it's the really big thing, for them there. It was just so big that he got those early catches, but unfortunately Anaconda just didn't take the necessary requirements in order to avoid getting caught out after they used that tab skip so early, because Aeroshell got the connection that he needed with that ram. So I think that there's a lot to have to be played out for, and they definitely cannot be playing like that whatsoever, because Aeroshell will just take it right back around and maybe go in for another big wall bang combo to maybe settle it out.
The Force Master wasn't too bad there, but I mean, I think we could see more. I mean, like you said, the wallbang strat was good. I mean, poor. I think it was Exoration that just. Exoration was the Soul Fighter. It slipped my mind, but the Force Master, just like we said, once those escapes are down, it's very, very difficult for them to come back, and you're caught up against a wallbang as well. I mean, it's a nasty mechanic. It's viable, but it's nasty, and you need to take steps to avoid it, which is what didn't happen there. And now, Whale, all they need to do is to take this 3v3, and then that'll be GG's.
Yeah, that's the really big thing. If wallbang does the man end up coming out, you can't save your ally from it. That's the really big thing for you at home. You have to know, if they're getting hit, they are eating the damage no matter what. There is no escape out of it. You cannot have an ally come in unless it's a summoner. That is their one unique trait, but unfortunately neither of them have that here, and it's probably not viable enough to bringing on in, but we'll see if he's going to be able to take it on out, as Peon does manage to get the initial opener here in onto Aeroshell, not knock him on up, not going to go for the pile driver here, just going to let him hit the ground. Dual Dragons does come in for a little bit of that shift damage. Both sides kind of just going blow for the most part on a wall. Things does come out for 1 brief second, but we do see the resets coming on into Aeroshell. Now playing back waiting out the ice and buying himself a bit more time as the resets not come back on in for the opposition as he has all of those cooldowns back. And we do see here, FM does manage to get their back step up while Persistence remains down here for the side of Airshell, but just going to be bringing anti-shield. Real big healing, going immediately for the aggressive damage.
Smash!
Down. Nicely done. Does manage to avoid up the tap escape as well. It's a parry as well into the vacuum. Now, right here, Pion's seeing so much free damage.
Oh, poor Pion forced into the ice armor just to avoid that damage. Arashel was looking strong there. The cleave combo was connected. It wasn't a complete connection. It was a lot of damage nonetheless. Now we've got to destroy mirror matches with merry-go-round, taking Arashel straight up, pile driving, wasting absolutely no time. Now the smash comes out again, this time from merry-go-round. This is a good, iron plating from Arashel. Just to get some survivability there. Now 22 seconds until the mandatory tag out, and this is what we're talking about. The cleave combo into the grab, but unfortunately for him, he dropped it. Now Ember Stomp going down, but the tag in is good. In comes the Anaconda, so the Warlock forced to do the hard work against the Destroyer, who tags out in 7 seconds.
It's so bad here for Anime just because they've already used 2 of their tag outs, whereas Whale's going to be getting their auto swap here in just a moment. Sayuri is going to get kind of forced to blow his tab escape, but it doesn't matter. He should be having that time disruption from here. Real soon. He's going to knock him up into the air. And Espion tries to come in for the save. He actually gets hit by that Thrall stun from the onrush. Dropping down Sanctum to buy himself some more time. You haven't used that Thrall swap, and now both escapes are down for the Anaconda, while Sayuri still has that Void Walk available. Leech might be down, and I don't think he's going to get a time disruption quite yet off of this Thrall, but the next one is definitely getting lined up. Well, oh, there it is. My correction. For it all, he's going to be getting those, but it's going out for both sides. Now just playing back, healing up a little bit there with the Bastion as well with Sayuri. Just going to play it patient, knowing he doesn't have to go aggressively in prison. Going to miss with guard break. Does not land the leech Q, unfortunately, in Airshell. Having to come in for the save, but actually he didn't even need to at all due to it missing from the opponent. Thankfully for them, they do manage to get the connection immediately, getting that stun off, but now we see Airshell getting dropped on back in to go head-to-head against Peon. We'll see if the Destroyer is going to be able to bring it back here as he is hit by that Frost Tornado. Coming back up, has him grabbed, just slowly pummeling him away. With the power slam in the back, he's going to be bringing back in. The back step is immediately used, and he's stuck in the wall bank up against the wall.
No!
And he's finished off as he tries to come in and save him. But right there, we see Peon is going to get finished off real quick.
So now they are in trouble. I Love Anime Reloaded, and the Anaconda now taking lots of damage here against Arashel. In goes the Sanctum. The Thrall's in there as well. Will this be the combo that the Warlock was after? No, there's no Thrall knock up there. Didn't quite connect there. I was so disappointed to see Nyan's Leech miss there earlier on and again, but this time Arashel now dictating the fight on his own terms, goes in. Oh, actually catches a Dragon Helix, but regardless, takes, deals out a lot of damage now of his own, and Arashel, 70% HP, he's not going down without a fight, standing in that Ember Stomp, tags out. In comes Kate Baldy, the man here on the Blade Master. What can he do? What can he do? That's a question on everybody's mind. In the Searing Slash, Flock of Blades, Anaconda's caught out, and it's taken out of the fight. And back in comes Merry-Go-Round, and was forced to blow the iron plating because there was really nothing they could do there. But the wallbang strats are good here, and Kate Baldy has been forced to take it now, gets gripped and wedged, and this is not looking good at all. 28% HP now. In comes I Love Anime Reloaded. Merry-Go-Round looking for the closer, but the parry is actually good. And Kate Baldy is the one who is going to be dishing out the hurt here. 41% HP. Oh, the vacuum connects! Oh, and well done there for Merry-Go-Round. In comes Sayuri now, trying to finish things off, and that is GG's. Whale with the victory.
I would say there, Merry-Go-Round trying to turn it around, especially with that ultimate, and they did manage to get the kill on the Cape's Baldy, but it's definitely not going to be enough against the opposition, which still has 2 people up and available, and he has absolutely no cooldown, so it's going to be able to blow out the victory there for himself, and that means Whale will be proceeding forward. And sorry, unfortunately for Anime, you're knocked out, friends.
It's not all bad. I mean, like we said before, they are one of the top 8 teams in the region at the moment, and that is definitely not something that you can turn your nose up. But Whale, congratulations. They will go through. They keep their dreams alive here in the North American Blade and Soul Battle Brawl Tournament. The next game that we are going to be bringing is Iron Monkey Trap versus OWO.
Yeah, so kind of curious to see who's going to be able to take the win here. I honestly think it can go to either side. Both of these contestants are the relatively new teams, obviously. So we're going to say which one of them is going to be the better, I guess, amateur group, if you would like to put it that way. But once again, here are their team compositions coming on up, and I like OWO's more.
Is that simply because they've got the Warlock and Iron Monkey Trap have only the Summoner?
It's because they have the Soul Fighter, and it's unique.
Fair. I mean, look, we saw OWO go up against Guardian, and where we talked about the Soul Fighter being effective was with the ultimate in the 3v3s. Exoration barely got any game time.
But this time, think about it. The enemy doesn't have a Warlock to kill him in the first 30 seconds. It's not gonna happen. There's no crazy untoppable damage that's gonna be coming out from Iron Monkey Trap's team. That's the really big thing I want to keep in mind. They have Summoner and FM, right? Those are the two things. Those are sustain classes. Same thing with the Blade Dancer. It's good for stalling. It's good for saving. That's all they do. Their team is buy more and more time with your cooldowns. Try to trade as unfairly as possible. So they're gonna have to be making sure that they play really well out against that Warlock, making sure that it's really worth it. You know, they save things like Ice Flower or Frost Prison with the FM just so that they can make sure they're not gonna be getting caught out during that time period of resets.
I mean, it depends what Flower plays here. Will he go for that Assassin? Will he go for the Warlock? I think he'll go for the Warlock. Just because, like we said, that's an advantage that you have. That's one of the most basic advantages that you can have over your opponent is just by throwing a Warlock into the mix when they have none, because of the sheer damage that can just pour out, and especially on the likes of a Summoner with one escape. Once it's down, you're caught up in the air. The Summoner it's the same story every single time. Same against the Destroyer, same against an Assassin, same against the Warlock. The Summoner can sustain, but once the escape's down, you just melt.
Yep. So that's the really big thing, you know, just trying to watch out, see what's going to be happening. I'm honestly kind of curious. It looks like we've got our lineups all set down. We're going to be having BD versus Sin in the first round here. So it'll be Iron Chuck versus Fowler. So Fowler is going to be opting to use that Sin in the 1 versus 1 at least. We could see a swap for the 3 versus 3 as well, but I definitely think the Iron Monkey Trap has got the advantage over here with the Blade Dancer, because I know a lot of Sins have a really hard time engaging against the BD for the most part, especially when it has so many aggressive ways to really deal with their stealth.
I mean, and after this, I mean, this is the losers bracket. We've still got the winners bracket to go. You've still got, you know, your generic name, your Guardian, all those other great players still going head to head. But it's all about this one for now, ladies and gentlemen. Who is going to be going through Iron Monkey Trap versus OWO? They will be versing the loser of Lethal and Guardian. So it's going to be out of the frying pan into the fire, so to speak, Gummy. But like we said, that's what happens when you lose those first rounds. You lose those second chances, and then it's do or die from then on out. So this is it for both of these teams. Yeah,
so we're going to see what's going to be going on here. I think getting the initial swing with the 1 versus 1 is really big. You don't want to be down in points for the most part, just simply because if you are down, that means if they get the 2-0, you're just going to have to win through the tiebreaker. No one wants to win through the tiebreaker. You really want that 3 versus 3 to be the deciding factor here in the end. But the initial opener going on off, and it looks like Iron Shock is off to an amazing lead start with that lightning draw coming down.
Oh!
Gets into the ground counter. Forced it for himself, and Fowler just gets to turn around and knocks his opponent back up on into the air, but he does still have his tab escape available, which will keep him safe and briefly and avoid out that poison breath with it here. But the Maelstrom is popped already too, and Cheese Smoke's going to be the name of the game here. 4 Powers, he waits back, does manage to get bodies off his stun, but doesn't see stun falling with the wall. Bar just chipping his opponent away, and he will get finished off.
Close shave bombard value, Gummy. Absolute value at close range there. Cheese-Smoke, all Fowler had to do was sit in that, let the BD come over to him, and then just dictate the fight on his own terms. And that PvE damage is ridiculous going through that ground counter, and there's really just no answer that the BD can do there at the end. So OWO, comfortable in the 1v1 there.
Yeah, it's the really big thing. You know, OWO, Fowler actually is a really far back name. He is actually pretty decent. At one point, if you didn't know, he was in, I think it was Rumble in the Realm 2. He made it into top 4. It was 2 or 3, so someone probably has that information. But he did actually manage to make it into the top 4, so he's definitely a more or less known player, I would say, from quite a while back. So definitely kind of expected to swing that way since he's been in the scene for such a long time. But now here, lining up for our next 1 versus 1, we're going to have Orbit Trap versus Exoration. So we have Summoner versus Soul Fighter. What do you think on this?
This is interesting. This isn't a matchup that you see very often. I mean, for the simple fact that not many people play Soul Fighter. So this is sort of one that I would be a little bit more unfamiliar with, just because, like you said, Soul Fighter much more better in the 3v3s here. So it's interesting to see that they've thrown him in here against the Summoner. But hey, I'm excited to see what they can do that. I'm more excited than anything. If that's just what I want to see. I want to see some massive plays here from Exoration, because SF holds a special little soft spot for me. It was the first class I ever rolled before I was told it was absolute garbage, before I knew a little bit more about the game. So I've got a soft spot for them going, but already Exoration behind the 8 ball taking...
Oh, for sure. You know, we see him here as well. He's running with that Earth Soul Fighter, not something you see a lot of people opt for, usually Ice Soul Fighter.
Oh no!
The pin coming on in by Orbit Trap, dealing so much damage with the ground ripple, going to be knocking his opponent back off to the side. But Orbit Trap's still sitting up here at near 100% HP. Of course, Summoner Sustain is the name of their game. We'll be laying down the ground anyway to be sucking him back into the King Fist, dealing out a reasonable amount of damage. But once again, getting it on back, and Orbit Trap is going to be forced to the True Friend does manage to come back down as well, trying to get that Doom and Bloom, is getting the picks off, going to be using the type of save to avoid the aerial bees, and he hits into that party iframe, unfortunately, there for him. OWO trying to look poised to take back that round. We see here trying to make their comeback for the most part. As we see, he's trying to get pushed on that Kane. Exoration does manage to connect with the stun. Dubskip is not available, has managed to land out the aerial combo as well, and Exoration dealing out a lot of damage, knocking his opponent down to the floor, doing a lot of damage there with that Iron Shoulder as well, but
the pounce
by the team. Orbit Trap will be able to take it back.
The power pounce coming in clutch there from Orbit Trap there on the Summoner. I liked what Exoration was able to do there with the knockdowns. With the Glacial Palms, and then into the leg sweep, and then just dealt so much damage. But that clutch cat power pounds in the end there, and Rumblebee, Summoner value straight up. I mean, the sustain from both of these both of the teams, both of the players, was fantastic. And in the end, it was all about timing. And well done to Orbit Trap there. We've talked a lot about how Summoner can be weak, but that definitely shows its value.
Yeah, it is how it should be. So right there we do see Orbit Trap does manage to take back a win and get a point on the board. So that means we're actually going to be tied out here 1-1. I'm not really sure why it says... You see that? You see that over there, right? I don't
think it says 1-1.
I don't... It should be 1-1. I don't think it should be 2-0. Iron Monkey Trap should be Orbit Trap's team right there. And I'm pretty sure we just saw him win. Unless these glasses aren't working quite as well as I think they would be. But right there, that means it should be tied up here coming into the next 3 versus 3. So I think that's the really big thing to be watching out for. So this is going to be do or die. The 3v3 is the determiner for the match. You're just waiting for that to change, aren't you? I
am. I'm looking at it. Just come on. But you are correct. Orbit Trap. I'm looking at the team names.
Maybe type it a little bit. It'll
just. I'm looking at the team names, and you're correct. Orbit Trap is actually on Iron Monkey Trap. So yeah. There we go. So it is actually a 1v1. So the winner of this 3v3 will actually be crowned victor of this set, Gummy. Who would you throw your Monopoly money behind?
You know, I honestly think it can go to either side. Again, I like OWO's team comp more if they are going to run the Warlock. Even if they run the Sin, I still like it more just because they're going to be able to run that really aggressive forward and it disappeared and it came back and... What is going on up there?
We'll get there.
It was like, okay, it's gonna get fixed. Then it came back, and it's just haunting me. It just doesn't want to listen.
Don't let your eyes deceive you, ladies and gentlemen. It is 1v1 in terms of points here at the moment. 1 to Iron Monkey Trap, 1 to OWO, which means that regardless of who wins this 3v3, we're not going to be seeing that final tiebreaker round. So this is it. Both of these two teams will be looking to come out all guns blazing, and the Soul Fighter especially. Gummy, because he got taken down early on in the last 3v3, we didn't actually get to see. There we go. We didn't actually get to see the value but we're talking about what everybody wants to see, that ult from the Soul Fighter.
Yeah, I think that's the really big thing is we want to see value out of this Soul Fighter. That's going to be the big thing. They decided to bring it. They got to make sure that it's going to be working out here for them in the long run. So I think they're going to be running in with that comp. You know, and again, I was saying with the topic at hand was, even if they bring in the Sin, I still like the comp more because it can play that aggressive playstyle. Summoner playstyles have honestly been kind of drawn out, and they're kind of fading away, I would guess, from the meta. A lot of people really aren't wanting to opt for that Summoner just because it has a really hard time getting those engaged, and it's just stall, 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 heal, heal, heal. And that's all you're really watching with that. Whereas on the other side, it's really, they want to play aggressive. They want to go for those quick, easy, and early kills. So we're going to see here if they're going to be able to bring it back together for themselves.
What is Foul going to be playing? Do you reckon to be playing the Sin, or do you reckon to be playing the Warlock here in the 3v3s? I reckon the Warlock, just because of that time distortion value for the 3v3s.
Yep. So I think that's the really big thing. And just a brief moment, too, is we're going to have a slight delay on the match, as I think there was something wrong when they entered in. So they're going to be resetting themselves up. And we'll be jumping into the action in just a moment. So let's once again go a little bit more over what are these comps? What are we going to be seeing here? So Iron Shock on the BD, Arbor Trap on the Summoner, and the Devil Monkey on the FM. So right here, we see a lot of healing and stall coming out. That's basically the comp. That's all it is. We got healing, stall from the Summoner. They have pretty good escapes. Their escape isn't really that great, but of course things like the Beacon can help avoid out things like aerials from the Warlock. Devil Monkey has a lot of ice effects and a lot of Frost Teeth and good save, and as well as Iron Shock with really solid save and some pretty strong neutral when it comes to those BD, as they iframe for like 10 seconds in a row, you know, against your opponent with things between Strafes, Guardian Tempest, and Maelstrom all stacked on top of each other. So there's a lot of things to kind of be careful for here.
Yeah, Devil Monkey is going to be looking to be the one to dish out those massive, massive chunks of damage extremely fast. You know, like we saw the Force Master do to start things off. I mean, Exoration did fantastic there on the Soul Fighter as well, but this is what we like. I mean, this is what we like. We like the 1v1s, the 1v1s going exactly that, 1-to-1, and then it coming down to the 3v3s, because let's be honest, everybody has their own individual skill. Everybody's got their own little bit of ego about them, their bragging rights. Yeah, sure, I'm great. But when it comes to the 3v3, that's when you sort of have to put that aside a little bit and just let's take a little bit of a back seat. So you need to work together. It might not all be about you. It might be about coming in at the clutch time with the save, with an iron plating or something like that, just to turn the tide. And then you say, you know what? I've done my part.
Yeah, that's the really big thing. You kind of have to be careful with all of that. But right here, we do see with OWO running in, I really like the Warlock. They do decide to bring that out just because resets are so powerful for the most part, especially if they do. I'm kind of curious if they lead with Exoration again. Obviously, last time he got blown up pretty quick, but Exoration goes in, and if he plays a really solid neutral, he could just burn a lot of the opposition's cooldowns, and then they can use the time distortion more aggressively to get even more big bursts of damage. It looks like we're finally jumping on in here. We have Iron Monkey Trap versus OWO. This 3v3 will determine the set. Here we go. Kid Fox, take it away.
Exoration taking a lot of damage. He's going to be opening things up for OWO. He's going up against Orbit Trap. Oh, it's down to less than 50% HP already. Big, big damage there coming out there from Exoration, landing lots of his combos. And now Orbit Trap is forced to tag out. So well done. And now Exoration taking lots of chunks here. Lightning Draw comes out there from the side of Iron Shock and Iron Monkey Trap. Exoration forced to go back and heal. Still 1 minute and 10 seconds before he has to tag out. But he might need to do so before then, because he is just on the receiving end of a world of pain here from Iron Shock. It goes into the Heavenly Dance up there, sorry, the 5-point strike up there, into the Lightning Draw, and Exoration is just playing survivability here, Gummy.
Yeah, so right here we do actually see him get the swap out as well, so 2 tag outs already used on the side of Iron Monkey Trap here, as the Bastion does manage to come down, but he's actually using KD Tetherblade, which has managed to line up for the Imprisoned. Tapscape is already forced out from his opponent, and unfortunately here for Flower, he's actually caught out inside of his Sanctum, so he's not going to be able to use that untarget ability for that brief duration of time. He doesn't have Brawl up and available, so second win is going to be doing a lot in the vacuum. Does manage to suck his ally back on into the floor, but Brawl is going to be coming back up, and we do still have that time disruption available, so it really isn't all worried about that, but he does manage to land out the Leech Q as well, knocking his opponent up into the areas. Orbit Trap tries to come back on in for the save, and Flower taking a lot of damage here, all the way down to 40%, but he is going to be able to heal some of that back up if he does manage to get the resets in onto those Bastions as well. But Iron Shock now brought out for the side of Iron Monkey Trap, and they're using these swap outs really often. It's kind of hard for them to really make a comeback if they do. OWO does manage to get a kill off here. So we see Exoration coming back in. Let's see if he's going to be able to catch out this BD as it spins away across the map. The lightning drop for the stun's going to be coming in, but Exoration goes for the tap. He's going to actually hits himself right there. Unfortunately, in Foxflame, they have to come in on here to save him, but he actually doesn't manage to get the Maelstrom for himself, and Exoration's killed again.
That is not good at all from one of the only soul fighters in the tournament. You want that value, you want that ult up, and now bit of deja vu going on here, Gummy. 2 for 2 in the 3v3s. Exoration has been removed from the board to start things off. An Iron Monkey Trap sitting in a very prime position here, but Fowler now tries to throw out that Helix Rocket combo from the Warlock, but Iron Shock is so strong here on the Blade Dancer. We can see he still has the flock of blades in the bank, wait to be used. No second wind, but Lightning Draw, that has been used. Fowler, though, survives it very well, and now in comes the tag here. It's going to be Monkey coming back in here on the Force Master, trying to do just chunk Fowler down as much as he can. Down to 25% HP. In goes the Soaring Falcon, connects, and now this is where these can look dangerous. The tag out, though, is going to come across, and Orbitrap is going to come in against Foxflame. Oh, go bees.
So it's going to be the really big thing, you know, Foxflame has to kind of play it slow if he really wants to win this out here for the most part, but having a hard time getting the arrows. The targeting is focused on over toward the cast. Dual Strike tries to iframe him from some of this PvE damage. The Maelstrom will save him for a little bit longer, but Fowler is not able to swap out if he gets put back in here. Unfortunately, Exoration died so early, and again, this is why it's so important to keep your allies alive for as long as possible, as you do want the swap out. So we see Lightning Drop coming on down. It's just going to finish him off right quick. And Fowler now stuck by himself in the 1v3 scenario, having to wait out, buy himself some time, dropping down the Sanctum. Let's see if he's going to be able to somehow turn this around, but it's looking really grim here for him in the long run.
50% HP for Fowler, and he's the only one left. The Stone Sentinel standing between Iron Monkey Trap and total victory. Can he do it? He needs some sort of miracle. Pray to various deities, divine intervention. He's got 30% HP, and Orbitrap is just dishing out the hurt here. Doom and Gloom, as well as the Rumblebees, is just making short work for Fowler, who's able to buy back a little bit of HP with that Healing Sanctum. Got the escapes in the bank too, but it's like we mentioned, it's not looking good. He's just going to get caught. Orbitrap, though, is now on the receiving end of some damage. And Fowler not going down without a fight at all. And the Leech 30 seconds away here, so still not being utilized full potential. Oh, big hit coming out there from Devil Monkey, but dodged well by Fowler. In goes the Meteor Shower, 90%, 20%, and it's up and down seesaw play here. Fowler is now toying with the inevitable 3% HP. Devil Monkey with the close, no, not quite yet. Fowler just gets that Sanctum down in the nick of time, buys himself a little bit more time, gets the freeze. This is great play here from the Warlock from OWO, Gummy.
Yeah, so right here we see Fowler just carrying his team on the backside, trying to get the win, trying to make sure he can get the victory out here, trying to get a kill on the board. But right here we see Devil Monkey having such a hard time to get back in. Doesn't have escape as he has no escapes available anymore. But right here we see Fowler trying to survive, but unfortunately the damage out from them is going to be finishing them off here.
Yeah, the palms too good in the end there. So congratulations to Iron Monkey Trap and the rest of, well, I was going to say Devil Monkey and Iron Monkey Trap. Well done. They've actually defeated OWO there. I'll get that one out eventually. So OWO, unfortunately, bow out in second last place, and Iron Monkey Trap, the 3v3 value was fantastic there from that Force Master, Gummy. But again, I want to highlight Exoration taken down, the first one off the board.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate. You know, he's killed pretty quickly in both of the games that they were playing out here today. So it kind of sucks. We didn't get to really see the Soul Fighter be prominent. So they're going to be dropping out of the tournament as the opposition now proceeds to go forward here today. So I think that's a really big thing. You know, they managed to beat out the Warlock. So it's not always that they're going to win. You, of course, need to have proper communication, proper saves, and things that are going to make it so you can survive, you know, through this kind of damage. The really big thing would be that Exoration really didn't get the saves he needed out from the aerials. He kind of just got killed off pretty quickly for the most part, which was really unfortunate, and, you know, just didn't get the BD Maelstroms that he needed at the right time.
So the next game that we are going to get into is back up to the winners bracket, ladies and gents. The one that we were talking about before, it is going to be generic name versus the way. Yep. Now, we talked about this one a lot because of the names. that are involved in this one. I mean, you've got Zach, you've got Virus, you've got Duck Balls. On the other side, you've got Yis, you've got Cassis. I mean, the amount of experience that a viewer is going to be able to learn just from watching this game is going to be amazing. It's going to be off the charts.
Yeah, so these are definitely the matches you're going to be looking more forward to. Generic name and the way is going to be really interesting, especially since there's people from the old Team Hurricane on each team, so they're going to have to be fighting out against each other. And as well as for myself, two of my old teammates that I used to play with, Zach and Duck Balls on Generic name as well. So it's going to be a match I'm also pretty excited for the most part. But of course, the way is going to have really strong members like Cassis and Akito. You know, they were really well known. They also ended at third in the regional competition last year, and Yasuni going all the way to Korea himself. We'll see if they're going to be able to put together their synergy that they need to really show why they are as dominant as the opposition.
Well, I just want to do a little bit of a point comparison here, Gummy. You had The Way, who actually qualified at 4th seed with 314 points. Then you've got Generic Name, who were miles ahead of the competition on 468 qualifying points. So they play a lot, but does that necessarily mean that they are the best?
It doesn't always mean you're necessarily the best. You know, the fighting points are kind of taken with a grain of salt. Honestly, coming into this tournament, I would really think that the big ones coming in would be Generic Name, Guardian, and The Way as top 3. Those are probably the fan favorites. For the most part, Lethal, of course, has been there and around every now and again, but they still have yet to really have that big push through, I would say, with any of their members for taking on a tournament and really getting far into the end of it. So we'll see if they're going to be able to, you know, kind of turn that on its head around. You know, that's always what you want to do, is try to see if you can make it farther than the crowd really expects you to.
Who do you think is going to open it up here, Gami? Which two Juggernauts, which two Titans are going to be going to open things up in the first 1v1, do you reckon? There it is. Duck Balls and Armor 1?
Yep, so that looks like it's going to be that. So it'll be Destroyer versus Sin. We were talking a bit about this matchup before. Destroyer can't kind of have a hard time if the Sin decides to stall out. They don't have really great ways to deal with stealth, as much as say like a Blade Dancer, just because they don't have defense plan on things like their Vacuum. So they have to be really on their A game when they really want to come onto it. But it can't really go to either side. Both of them do have pretty reasonable tab escapes. So we'll see what side is going to be able to bring out, which ones are going to be getting the initial catches that need to be made here.
There it is. Duck Balls going up against Armor 1. Destroyer versus Sin. The music's underway. 2 minutes and 50 seconds is ticking down. Here we go. Generic Name versus The Way. This is the winner's bracket, ladies and gentlemen, here for the NA Battle Brawl. And the Ember Stomp now going down. Armor 1 taking a fair bit of damage, but he does have that chi smoke. He's just going to sit back there and inhale, exhale. And it's 96%.
So right here we do see the high wire coming on now as well. You can just be pulling him on back in as M1 rise the victory, but the shield slam will be able to catch him out. And right here we do see Duck Balls up with that tab escape as Kito's trying to run away. He goes back in with the CI frame, now trying to knock him back. Does manage to get the red spin into the connection with the ram as well. That's pummeling him away. So as long as he doesn't drop the combo here, he's going to be able to dish out a lot of damage. Just managed to stun leap as well. To the follow-up will be able to be the active no pile driver this time around using defense spin, so he's not going to get those decoys and ground counters for free. The Ember Stomp will be keeping Duck Balls just barely safe on the edge here. Now,
yeah, the turning leaf was good there that came out from Armor 1 as well, just to get himself out of that Ember Stomp, throwing down the Lotus of Escape as well as the Chi Smoke. This is where Duck Balls, the Destroyer, once all the cooldowns are blown, they struggle a little bit. Meanwhile, over at Sin, that's where you need to be careful, because you can allow them just to regenerate those escapes, regenerate that Chi Smoke, all that survivability, everything is on the side of the Sin, but the Destroyer really doesn't have a choice. Now in goes the Close Shave Bombard, straight up value here from Armor 1 on the Assassin here, 48% now HP from Armor 1, 61 now on the side of Duck Balls. We're 1 minute and 10 seconds left in this game, and now the gap gets closed, but is dodged pretty well there by Duck Balls. The Bombard just whipping, throwing down an Ember Stomp just to create a little bit of room between himself and his opponent. The grab goes in now, and oof, it's not looking pretty here for Duck Balls. He takes a fair bit of damage because Bombard is just flying left, right, and center. Oh, the web is good. First web we've seen all game there from Armor 1, which is really what we're known for. He's nice. He's known to be going straight in knock-up web combo, but 40 seconds, Gummy, and it's still anybody's game.
Yeah, right there we did see the blue buff actually managed to come out right before the close shave, so it ended up bugging it out. And unfortunately for Aikido, he had to tab out. But we see the timer ticking down. Destroyer does not want to go to time. That's the really rough part. Destroyer has a hard time dealing as much damage as the Sin typically in this matchup. If it goes to time, it could mean the game here for Duck Balls. He wants to try to go in as aggressively as he possibly can, trying to go with the shield. Does manage to get the ramp down and it stays. Aikido on the bombard running away. Aikido just trying to tick down the timer, gets the body stop, gets the kick, but right here he's going to get hit by the tap escape. The tap escape does come back from Aikido's side, going with the C iframe to the close shave, biding his time. Duck eating so much damage. Those bombards are most definitely going to be enough, and I'm pretty sure Amor to win.
Yeah, look, I'd have to throw my money behind Amor here as well. Duck Balls, he has a survivability, but I don't know about the damage. Yeah, Amor was definitely dictating that fight a lot more than Duck Balls was. Poor old DB was just playing defensive the entire time. But how about those close shave bombard combos, Gummy, there from the Assassin?
Yep.
Huge value.
That's the really big thing is he's had so much damage potential, and I think that's a really big part. Where Sin has the advantage in that matchup, if they do try to go for the time, they can solve so easily with things like the stealth mechanic. Obviously, having two tab escapes, being able to rotate between both of those whenever they do get caught out, it allows them to buy enough time to really get to that 3-minute timer, and that's where Destro will struggle. If they can't get the kill early, it might just be lights out.
Yeah, it's long cooldowns to Destroyer, and I mean, like we said before, once those are down, you're forced to play the passive game, but then it's a double-edged sword because the Assassin does the exact same thing, and then once those escapes are up, I mean, you've got, I think, 3 in the end there for the Assassin. It's ridiculous how much mobility that it has, and you could see there Amor knew that, and he knew that the longer that fight went out, he knew that he'd be able to deal more damage, and in the end, the slow game is what got him over the line in the end. So well done to the way.
Yeah. So they do manage to get that 1 point up on the board. As for generic name, though, of course, they're going to have a lot. They're still contesting really well. Whether they are down or not, they are still the #1 seed coming in, and they are really well known as a player group, essentially, in the game. So I think that's something to be watching out for. And in our next up, we're going to be having Virus versus Yasuni. We're going to be watching Sin versus Warlock, which is a really big head-to-head matchup. I'd say it can really go into either player's swing of favor as long as they know what they're doing and they're being on top of their A game. And I really think that they're going to be able to bring this out, and I'm sure Virus is going to be coming back with a vengeance for his team.
Yeah, I mean, you are about to see 2 of the best players in the region at their class go head-to-head, so get the notepads out. This one is going to be one definitely to watch. Virus on the Assassin, Yasuni on the Warlock. Take it away, Gummy.
All right, here we go. Virus already going in with that R&B stealth for his opener, now playing back since the Bastion was burned, trying to buy himself some more time. Put down the flower and as well as using the infiltrate and using that shadow in order to get back on in stealth, trying to get some damage off the inside of that sanctum, but knocked up into the air. While just sitting around, does actually decide to use his tab escape, and now backing off to the opposite side of the arena. He wants to avoid that untargetability as much as he possibly can, dropping down the XL to avoid anything with RMB. Unfortunately, that tether blade is not going to connect here for Yasuni. Now the time distortion going off. Flower still available here for Virus, knocked up into the air, trying to mitigate as much damage as he possibly can. Does manage to go off with the party decoy, but not going to get any connection as Yasuni knows to not to hit into that. Now playing back, buying time. Time distortion has already been used, and tab escape is coming back up for Virus, and arguably he could be in an advantage if he can get in a combo here. Now going in with the infiltration, trying to catch out his opponent. Let's see if he can manage to stop this. Goes in, gets the LMB stun. Tab escape is immediately burned by Yasuni, and Ice Mine is down. Is the name of the game, and he actually gets the catch. Ooh. What was that? Now he's trying to go for the throw, not actually backing off, trying to get the infiltrate in onto as well. Goes for the poison breath for some slight healing as well. Has to be really careful of the leech cooldown here. Hits its decoy, hits the stun, lands the bolt strike, and Yasuni taking massive amounts of damage, thrown up into the air, hit down to the ground from the webbing. Voidwalk will manage to swap positions here. Does manage to get out the sanctum as well, but now Virus on the upper hand has it. He just needs one more catch. Yasuni not having the tab attack is going to be getting it back real soon, but Thrall is still down.
Thrall's down, Leech is up. Second win, though, that's the important one for Yis. That's available. He's been caught. He's forced it out, though, so now no escape now from Yasuni, and you've got 52% HP from Virus. He's not going to sit in that chi smoke because all Yis has to do is just throw out a few ability and hope to catch him out. Now the gap has been closed. Oh, the Gravity Well has actually caught Virus here in the Thrall, so Yis can really turn the tide here. There's lots of damage that could have been poured out there. I think Yis just dropped the ball on the combo there, and that just opens it up for Virus, who's able to dictate the fight on his terms. Web straight up into the air. So a little bit premature on that one. Regardless, doesn't throw down the mine. 44 seconds to go, and Yiss is very, very hurt.
That was so amazing there by Virus to make sure he gets that aerial webbing right as the time distortion comes back up. He's not going to allow that second TD to get value for Yasuni. All it does is get him back his escape. He can't use his aggressive cooldowns. Now Virus is just buying time, and we only have 30 seconds left on the clock. He's running for the opposite side of the arena, buying time, waiting it out. Tries to go for the party decoy, going to drop down that flower as well. Sanctum is in the center of the arena, so there's no running away from that, but does manage to avoid out the imprison as well. Needs to buy time against Elise, just managed to get the decoy as well. Connects the Ice Mine, taps, get burned out by Yusuni. He knows he has to go. It's do or die, and Virus just keeps entering stealth, and he is not going to let Yusuni hit him. Gets the body stop, goes for the poison breath, pops the tap escape, playing back, going aggressive, and here comes the timer. And it's honestly anyone's game. And I don't even know who won off the game, but I think it does go over.
I don't know, Gummy. I don't know who's going to take it. It's Virus!
There we
Getting
go.
the win over Yiss.
Once again, it's so hard if you want to time out the Sin. They do so much chip damage over the process of the game. And of course, it could be a little more deceptive as Warlock. You know, it does do a lot of healing itself. When you're resetting with things like Bastion, especially twice, you can get off a lot of value from that 5% heal. So I think that was the really big thing. Good on Virus, though. Once again, I thought that aerial web against the second time distortion was amazing.
That was anybody's game. I mean, I honestly thought that Yiss might have had that one there because of the chi smoke that Virus was just dropping constantly to heal himself back up. Yiss was pouring out so much damage, but in the end, they're down to the timer. It's the final gatekeeper, isn't it, Gummy? But it's 1-1, and just like that, we're going back to where we started. It's a 3v3 to decide who is going to be the winner. We've seen a few of these today, ladies and gentlemen, and they're always exciting. But this one, I can't pick a winner. I honestly can't. I mean, you've got very similar compositions, but very similar skill as well. That's the big thing for me, is that a lot of these players have duked it out with the big leagues, and it's going to be extremely S-class this game.
That's going to be the really big thing to be kind of keeping in mind and have an eye out for. So for the most part, what's it going to be? You know, the difference in composition that they have is between the Blade Dancer and the Destroyer. They're both spin classes, but they both have very different uses. I definitely think on the side of generic name, they have the much better form in order to go for aggressive due to the wallbang strategy that the Destroyer brings. But of course, a lot of safer play coming in from the Blade Dancers that can stall bide their time. But again, it can be anyone's game depending on how maybe even just the opener goes in this matchup. Who's going to have to burn the TD first? Who's having to burn their tab escapes first? Who's going to maybe get that first initial aggressive play?
It's going to be about the debates. Who's going to debate out the abilities first, ladies and gentlemen? And like you said, once the escapes are down, it's a difficult time no matter who you are. So let's get it on like Donkey Kong. The 3v3 between generic and of this one will be progressing through the winner's bracket. The loser will be going down into the loser. So it's not all sour grapes for the loser of this one, but as we get underway, it's going to be Yiss versus Virus to open things up. The match that we just had on screen, ladies and gents, and already it's a similar style with both of these guys not really wanting to give away an inch. Now in goes the Sanctum from Yasuni, and again, Virus, all he has to do is enter stealth and run.
So that's the really big thing we see here. Virus is buying his time, trying to stall out this Brawl. It is going to be disappearing relatively soon. And if you can manage to get the catch, you know, before they even get the time distortion off, it could be a really big lead advantage. Good on Yasuni to use that Void Walk, though, before the throw disappears, as it does allow him to keep his tab escape, but he's getting PvE'd really hard out here. He's dropped down to around 60% HP, getting dropped real low, and he's forced to swap back onto Aikido. Kind of think maybe he should have been on this the entire time, and we see more one already dropped in, and he's actually on blue buff. He only has one escape down there, as he does not have the Lotus escape any longer. But now Zach coming on in, time taken away, and Virus gets both of his escapes right on back and is into the action once again.
Yeah, the good old Sin versus Sin matchup. Oh, there's lots of lightning rods coming out here on the side of Virus. Amor 1 down to 50% HP. So we're down to 8 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in this game. And already you can see Virus doing exactly what he did in the previous round against the Warlock. That is just by the times when the Warlock's coming in for the assist, or whether it be the main opponent. He's going to wait it out now. 9 seconds, 7 until the mandatory tag out, and Gummy, a hush falls across the arena.
That was the really big thing, and you know, again, Aikido's still on that blue buff. He's taking so much damage, had to do a really quick swap, so he didn't have the time to swap his build unfortunately, to go a little more even, but they did manage to get the catch in onto Duck Balls with that auto swap coming out, which is really big for them. So he has already blown his tab escape, but he is fine just playing it patiently. They know they have the advantage in their hands as they've already used a tag out and 2 of their assists, which is really big on the side of Generic Name as they take this small incremental lead, and Duck Balls is buying time. Bang Destroyer, the big juggernaut, waiting out for time. You know, he has the stone shield out, and he really doesn't have to go aggressive here. He's waiting to play reactively against the Keto because he knows Sin has a really easy time dodging all the engages that Destroyer can bring. Coming in, but he does go for the immediate blue buff into damage and forces out the tab escape from Akito once again, but the auto swap coming in 2. 1 is not going to be able to get the connection that he needs to here. No, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to follow it up, but we do have Cassis jumping on in. That Falcon not going to be able to miss as it whisks on into the SS from Duck Balls. Not going a little more forward, trying to play it out. Maelstrom is popped out here by Cassis as well, knocked down by the ankle biter into the Phantom Grip. Tab escape is going to be burnt out here by Duck, but not all too worried as he does have the Ember Storm into the wall bang after the Dragon. We see blue buff, Poison Breath, Unbarred, jumping it down, and Cassis too close to the wall. You cannot do that, my friend. You are out of the match.
Unfortunate for Cassis, gets absolutely destroyed, and the way they've lost one early on, that's not good at all, but still, they're not down and out. It's not terrible. Look, it's bad, but it's not terrible. You've got the Warlocks now both in. Both of the Sanctums are down. Both of the Thralls were down. Oh, the Imprison actually catching there. So well done for Zach to land that one. Yes, now. Oh, in goes the Time Distortions here from both of these guys. And just buying a little bit back for Yasuni. The Leech coming out from Zach. But this sustain here from the Warlock, extremely, extremely strong. And already these dimensional salvos just not finding as much value as you would think they would be, Gummy, just because of that survivability, of that sustain, and now the tags come in. We've taken in the 2 Warlocks, we've got a Destroyer and the Assassin out in the field. Same with the Lotus.
That's a really big thing, and of course, you know, that's why Duck Balls likes to sit up against the wall. You know, we saw him earlier against the Keto. It's really big. If you get that wall bang, you can deal so much damage. That's why Keto has to stay away. He has to respect that nature. We see Duck backing off again. He's like, you want to come fight me? You got to fight me on my terms. You know, it's a really big thing. You do not want to be caught out here as drag. Wherever the Destroyer is facing is where you will be pointed to. So if he points toward the wall, Red Spin is so easy to connect off of here. But right now, they're so far behind us on the side of the way. They only have swap outs here on Akito. So if Suni gets put in, he's stuck in for good. And there is so many aggressive plays that the opposing side could be using. As Virus still has 1 interfere, could be going for the blue buff, and all 3 ultimates are charged up here on the side of Generic Name, throwing out those axes. He's going to force out the power in Akito's side. Trying to go forward. He does pop for the blue buff, trying to go in on the aggressive, but CI frame is going to get used. Party Decoy not going to be doing a whole lot here, but his ultimate is now up and ready for himself as well.
So yes, I mean, yes is sitting back there, but like you said, once he's in, he is in. Cassis has died with 2 and 2. Good body swap coming out there. Oh, Duck Balls was switched on though, not allowing Amor 1 to capitalize on the turning lead, but 4 minutes and 53 seconds going down. It is a little bit of a slow game, but at the moment, it's definitely Generic Name. That all they have to do is sit back. This is on the way here. The way really need to close the gap here. They need to start taking fights. But Generic Name, like you mentioned, they've got 2 out of their 3 ults up. Duck Balls used his. Virus is sitting with 1 as well. And now with the tag in, we've got a matchup going on. Amor 1 is going to tag out. Yes now comes back in, and this could be do or die right here, Gummy.
I really like to play out from Generic Name. So purposefully, they're waiting, they're stalling out, they're sitting against the wall because they know their threats. They know they're up in advantage. And all they have to do is wait for the natural timer to swap in Yasuni. And now Akito, it's up to him to keep Yasuni alive because any aggression that comes out of Generic Name could just put him on the back foot here. And I think they have to be really mindful of that. He's going to be getting caught out actually, but this Duck Balls coming in to save his ally with the Stone Shield, knocking him back with the Red Spin. Now Zach immediately getting blocked in as well. Time Distortion is available, and he has the upper hand here in the 1 versus 1. And the key, and Yasuni no longer having that Thrall available means he's going to have to be playing kind of back. We do see if they're the chains coming on in, but the stun actually cancels it here from the onrush of Thrall, which is really big. They have to be kind of careful. The Thrall swap does end up coming in. The time skip is burnt out here by Zach, but once again, Time Distortion is still available for him. Back in front of Thrall. Time Distortion now going off. Time skip is going to be used, but he charges forward with the Bastion. Let's get here available and stuck up against the wall. Duck going in for the aggro play with the red buff. Now shielding is up here once again for Zach, trying to go back in and forward. Goes in with the blue buff, trying to force him to go outside of that Sanctum. Now, for him, he does manage to land up a free pulse but no great connection here for them in the end. But he does manage to get the aerial. The thrall comes on in Yasuni. Now playing back is still up and alive. Managed to avoid all the aggression, but no time escapes available. Thrall coming in. Bastion does come. Interferences once again back and ready. But no swaps available, and Yasuni will get blown out here as he has no iframes, no West nothing to keep himself alive. And Akito now left alone, but he manages to take out Zach.
Yeah, it's all up to Amor 1. He's all up to Amor 1. Like you said, Zach has been taken down, so the Way are still in this one. It's going to be difficult, but they're not down and out. Virus now is dealing out the damage there to Amor 1, who was caught in the web, so lots of heart stabs coming out here from the side of Generic Name. That's Virus dishing out the hurt. Both of the Lotus of Escapes are down. Ooh, great knockdown. And it's still anybody's game. You can see both of these slippery assassins. The Poison Breath goes out. Doesn't actually catch anybody there from the side of Amor 1. In goes Virus, though. Closes the gap. G-Smoke is down, giving him a little bit of breathing room, literally, there. Virus now, he's just more than happy just to sit back here because it's up to Amor 1. He has to go in. The Fire Mine goes down. Narrow miss there. But that could have been disastrous. But there we go into the Lightning Rod. Poison Breath goes out, but Amor 1 into an escape of his own this time. They're still just duking it out. 1 minute and 50 seconds to go. The tags are in. It's Duckfalls against Amor. And Amor is on the back foot. He gets knocked down nice and early. Ember Stomp into the cleave, and that is game.
Yeah, right there we do see, though. So Zach managed to actually burn out a lot of the cooldowns out of Amor 1, even though he did end up dying. It was actually really important. He got some of the cooldowns out from Akito in order to make sure that his teammates in the future can have that lead of cooldown so they can go more aggressive and make sure that they force out early against the Way so that they have to play on such a large back foot. And right there we did see Virus got the advantage over his ally. They got to use the save out from Duck as well. And then they swap, and Virus is so free to just use that on the aggressive play at the end while Akito has no escape. So really nicely done out for them to make sure that they keep their advantage, maintain it as strong as they possibly can, and make sure they come out on top with this win.
So they're done for the day, Generic Name there. So they are going to be sitting pretty on their throne at the moment. They're going to be going through to the winners bracket semi-finals, which actually won't get played today. That will be tomorrow. There'll be a little bit of a different format for that one as well, which we will get into tomorrow. But for now, unfortunately for the Way, they are actually going down into the losers bracket. But like we said, not down and out as yet. So we'll just get the bracket up on screen, as the next match we're going to be bringing you is Lethal versus Guardian Gummy. Yep. So Guardian winners bracket again. We saw what they were able to do in their first game, and it was scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a really big thing. So Guardian, obviously being really long-standing, they've been communicating for a long time. They know what each other is thinking. They know when to go in. They have a lot of teamwork and coordination. I think that's a really big thing that they're going to have here over their opponents. So that's going to be the really big thing to kind of be watching out for the most part, just for the simple fact that it really is a kind of a titan when it comes here. And again, I think they're one of the better teams coming into this tournament, and I think they're a really big fan favorite for the most part, and they are lined up to maybe even potentially take it all the way to first place. But, you know, it's honestly anyone's guess at this point.
Yeah, I'm really liking both Guardian and Generic Name. They are my top two contenders here today. But like, having said that, Lethal, a definite contender. The Way, another one. We saw them there. That could have gone anybody's way, that game there, Gummy. Anybody's way. So I don't want to say a Generic Name were lucky, but they got that early frag. And after that, it was their game to lose. And they stayed strong and held. But now, Lethal versus Guardian. I mean, the loser of this one is going to be versing Whale. And Whale are not a bad side themselves. So, again, you want to be winning this one, but then you're going to have to go up against Generic Name. It's sort of, you know, a little from column A, a little from column B. Either way, it only gets harder from here, so you need to step it up.
That's the really big thing. So they have to kind of be careful, and we do see the Way is dropped down there in the losers bracket as well. So Iron Monkey Trap's going to have a really tough opponent to be going up against, and I think that's another big thing they're going to have to be watching forward to in this game. But right now against Lethal and Guardian, I honestly think Guardian has such a big advantage because of their team comp. I really like the fact that they're running, you know, the kind of usual thing, the bread and butter combo of that Blade Dancer with Warlock and with Sin. Whereas on the side of Lethal, they're bringing Blade Master, you know, instead of Blade Dancer. And there's a lot of talk about how this really goes. And honestly, a lot of people like to throw it over to the Blade Dancer because Maelstrom is that much more powerful than HM Block for the most part.
Yeah, there's so much damage dealing potential that is on the side of both of these teams. So it's really going to be interesting to see who actually does come out on top here. And the winner against Generic Name, again, that game tomorrow is definitely going to be one that you should keep your eyes on. But running through the teams, Lethal, Ocean, Darken Master, and Riven, Destroyer, Warlock, and BM there, but we've got Aikini, DeBears, and Sun Shower as well. So, oh, sorry, that's not BM for Ribbon. Mix that one up.
Yeah. So that's the really big thing, though. It's just the fact that they've brought Blade Master. They're gonna have to kind of play around. It's really long and lengthy cooldown. The other thing is that Blade Master kind of has a troublesome time with Warlock, whereas BD usually lines up a lot more nicely. So things with like Blade Master, they can't reset their Z-Pull or their Flock of Blades if they're using them in a long that is. And that's kind of the issue. I think that really comes down to it. You know, Blade Dancer, they get all of their cooldowns back. I don't believe there's any cooldown of theirs except for the Maelstrom. Global cooldown doesn't get reset, obviously. They get everything back, which is really big, and they have a lot more self-healing for themselves. They can heal up to 45% off of Guardian Tempests alone on top of those TDs, so it's a really big thing to kind of be watching out for. I think their sustain is better, and their stall potential is really big. So if Lethal wants to take the win, they need that early wallbang, they need that early surprise, and they need those early kills with those strong cooldowns that the BM brings.
Yeah, you're going to be wanting that destroyer to, yeah, you're going to be wanting that destroyer to just be a big imposing presence, put himself between the opponent and any open space, and have the wall at the back, because the wall bang mechanic is extremely strong, and it doesn't matter who utilizes it. I mean, some people call it cheese, but hey, if you're caught in that position, that's something about your own gameplay that you need to address. So you should ideally never be getting caught in a wallbang position, and anybody who whinges about it just needs to have a look at themselves. But because it is scary, it's scary for a reason, but it is avoidable. Yeah.
So of course, if you are watching out for it, you can't avoid it. So you have to be really careful, kind of on the upper hand and on the back foot. But right here we have in our first round, Destroyer versus Warlock, Ocean versus Aikini. Let's go ahead and get this match underway.
Here we go, Ocean versus Aikini, Destroyer versus Warlock. Now, we talked about this matchup a bit in the sense that the Destroyer, can he give the Warlock no room? That is where he'll be able to come out with a victory. Take down the Thrall nice and early, but Ocean is opting to play the long game here, allowing Aikini that space, and this could be disastrous here. Already you can see Ocean gets caught out. The fall-in from the Thrall goes in. Aikini dealing so much damage. Ocean, all offensive cooldowns are done, but does actually manage to catch Aikini in the pile driver there. Still does have escapes available. Ocean now taking lots of damage, but this is what we're talking about. Spin to win. Give them no room at all. Sanctum is not going to do anything for the Typhoon spins, and Aikini realizes that, forces the pushback, and wow, Ocean, that's all I have to say, Gummy. Oh, gets caught.
Aikini with the amazing parry into the aerial from the block. Really nicely done there. And it just cleans out Ocean and Aikini. The really decisive victory, I would say. Even though he's down to half HP, it looks pretty one-sided for a while there, besides that one time when the red spin was coming out. The fact that Aikini got off that deflect up straight into the air, Ocean goes, and that's going to mean lights out for him.
Too much space, too much room, and the poor old Destroyer was fell on his own axe there in the end, because Aikini, like we said, was able to get all of those abilities down. The only time the Destroyer really looked threatening was in that red spin. Didn't actually care about the Sanctum at all, and Aikini was forced to react there, but reacted well, and then pretty much did a 50-0. So it was very nice to see the experience coming through there from Aikini, even though he was on the back foot.
Yeah, so right here, though, we are going over to our next set in this match, which will be Darken Master versus the Bears. So it'll be Warlock versus Sin. And I have a lot to really say about this matchup. There's a lot of thoughts that kind of go into it. There's things people consider, you know, for both sides for the most part. You know, like, when is the time distortion going to be going off? What cooldowns do I have to fight against? The thing itself, do I stall here? Do I want to go aggressive? And we'll see if the Bears has all of these answers as he goes forward here with the decoy. Bastion running out here for the side of Darken Master. Does manage to get out that Thrall a little early here as well, but the Cheese Smoke going to be keeping Bears safe. He's not going to opt to use anything. He is actually going to blow the flower after a slight delay. Does not want to get out here. Is the impression into the leech as well. Thrall's going to be throwing him up into the air. Getting the roll back. Manages to slide out as a tech chase is not going to be made here by Darken Master. Now backing up. Bears No more escapes, but if he can manage to avoid getting caught out here, he could very well turn it around, but he gets hit right there by the stun from the Thrall into the Tether Blade, but no aerial out from the side of Darkened Master, unfortunately, here for him. Bears now trying to go in on the aggressive. Bastion is ticking away. Sanctum is not yet available. Misses the LMB stun ever so slightly. Gets the Shadow Slash. The knockdown into the Re-KD with the Mind Bombard. Does lots of damage. And once again, here's where the Sin can really shine. They deal so much free damage in onto the Warlock. They didn't have to drop. He didn't have to drop the web. He doesn't have to do anything. He just goes for the LMB stun, gets the leg sweep, and trying to deal as much damage as he possibly can with Bombard. Lotus of Escape now back and available as he waits out. He does have his tab escape back as well. And right here we see the Mind getting dropped down, hit by the stun. He does not need a target for that, and Bears backing off. Can buy himself time, and Darkened Master is stuck on the other side of the arena.
The Lotus of Escape is down as well, throwing down the Chi Smoke, so he'll be looking to escape into that one. Should he get caught, the Soul Shackle actually lands there, and now DeBear's in a lot of trouble because Darkened Master can just open up, and he drops the combo. The Tether Blade wasn't as effective as he hoped, but now here comes DeBear's with that ground and pound combo, Bombard and Venom Breath. See you later. He's been eating some bad Chipotle, and at 52% HP. Big plays there from DeBears to turn that one around.
You know, right there at the end, when he managed to party decoy out the leash from Darkened Master, it was pretty much game from there. The free stealth, Thrall going away, no escapes available. Bears is just free to rain in on the Bombard damage all he wants in order to deal damage to his opponent. And right here, Guardians up 2-0. You think we're going to see another 4-0 sweep?
I think we are. I think history might repeat itself here. Lethal, they're a good side, but Guardian, they are just definitely on a complete upper echelon at the moment. I mean, we could see the skill disparity between them and their opponents in the first game. It's granted, it's not as large in this game as it is, but it's still big, and you can definitely see the international experience shining through from these guys.
That's the really big thing. So you kind of have to be on that ideology. And again, coming into this 3 versus 3, I like Guardians comp more. I think it's more phenomenal and more well-known, more processed, just because with the opposing team comp on Lethal, they're going to have a harder time. They need to make sure that they get the catches as early as possible. If they don't make the plays early game, I really think that the swing is going to go over to Guardian for the most part. But of course, Guardian, even if they do lose, they still have that pocket 1 versus 1 if they want to come out ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Lethal are going to need to get an early pick here in the 3v3. They're going to need something to go their way early in order to shift it across. Then, I mean, the job's not done. Guardian, I have full confidence that Guardian can 2v3. I have absolutely no doubt. There was a player in Europe in the regionals named Zapish, KFM, nearly did a complete reverse sweep at the EU regionals. And it was monstrous. And he is probably on the same skill level as some of these Guardian players. Different class regardless, but I'm getting that same sort of vibe. So Lethal, they're going to need something early, but they can't stop there. They can't let the wind out of their sails. They need to ride that snowball, ride that momentum, and take that big wave into shore.
That's a really big thing, but it looks like we are finally lined up to go on into the next match. The Ocean versus Lycini here in the opener, and Thrall is already out in the action.
It is going to be Des versus Lock, and yeah, like you mentioned, Thrall goes out into the Soul Shackle early as well, so Ocean just again giving too much room for Aikini to spread his wings, and already is down below 70% HP here. These combos are just redonkulous from Aikini at the moment, and poor Ocean just really doesn't have an answer now. Into the Iron Planning, the call has been good, but now Sanctum and Time Distortion coming out. Will it be enough? Both of the Warlocks are out. The assist comes in from both there in the end. So the Bears has been called in, as well as Ruben and Darkened Master. So already Ocean just fallen in, phoning the friends, and Ocean just taking so much damage here. Finally gets the knockdown that he needed, but Aikini second wins out.
Yeah, so right here we do see Aikini kind of having a upper hand for the most part, just simply because he's just waiting back, buying himself some time, and Guardian now having to play back and on the defensive. He wants to stay as far away from this wall as possible, though, as he is kind of worried about the wall thing. You don't want to get hit by that. The Leech is coming back up. He has plenty of time to be getting that off as well. Oh, the Distortion throws it on into the C iframe. It's a really big thing to be watching out for here. But let's see here how he's going to be playing it out. He's just waiting. Buying time. Brawl off on the side, looking pretty. Does manage to connect out to the Imprison. Gets the KD with the Tether Blade as well. And Persistence is going to be burned up by the Destroyer. And Sanctum is going to be keeping flat of the red spin will be knocking him on back as he does recover with the one get up iframe, gets knocked back the other way to avoid the wall. Now playing back, he is stuck here on top of his own Ember Stop. Dan does try to go, but the natural swaps will be coming in for both sides, and relatively even for the most part, I would say here.
Yeah, Ocean with the mandatory tag out. Probably could have made the decision a little bit earlier, but regardless, Guardian still with the advantage. We've had 2 minutes into this 3v3 so far, and already damage slightly in favor of Guardian because Ocean stayed in on the Destroyer. But that's what the Destroyer does: plays the long game, plays the soak game, is able to take those big hits. And was that the Warlock coming out? CS, the Thrall into the discussion. So now we can see the gap being closed. That's what I'm talking about. The aerial combo from the Warlock. So much damage there onto to Darbears, the Assassin. The Imprison lands though from Darkenmaster this time back into that Chi Smoke. This is where the Assassin is nasty. Fire Mine. It's waiting. The web connects and into the close shave as well as the Bombard. Darbears calls in the boys for some assistance. In fact, it was Darkenmaster who called in the Destroyer OCN there, and that could have been disastrous. But again, these knockdowns are so good. In comes the Blade Master into the Flock of Blades and the Searing Slash into the aerials, and this is nasty for Aikini. He's got Darkenmaster and the Blade Master dealing so much hurt his way. Wow.
Unfortunately, right there for Aikini, he got dropped in when his opponent had no cooldown, but honestly, it's not looking all too bad. Darbears can even steal back up if he wants to get off on a time distortion. They can deal with Chi Smoke, and right here we see Ocean stuck up against the wall, having to burn that blue buff just for the iframe off of it, and he's taking so much PvE damage. Stone Shield already burned down, and I can't get in cooldowns, and now once again, Riven coming on in. He's going to have to be playing up against this Warlock, and the parry goes off in the iframe to avoid up. Bears coming in. Stone Shield's not available, and Riven's gonna be eating so much free damage here. That's the really big thing. It looked like Guardian was down, but the fact that Ocean had to come in, had to burn so many cooldowns, they lose out on their precious save, and the other save had to get swapped in, which is the really big thing. That's why they have to be so careful. Guardian now back to the upper hand, and it doesn't matter that the Bears are so low. They wait till another time distortion. They heal them back up with the Chi Smoke. They are really far ahead of their opponents right now. As long as Aikini can manage to maintain the strong neutral, they had managed to force out the escape from Darkenmaster as well. Sanctum is down. He's just throwing left and right over there at that Brawl time distortion. It's going off for the side of Darkenmaster, but he is taking a lot of damage. Ocean down to 10% HP. He's the target attack, even though he came in to try to save. Someone needs to save him. All right, so Aikini does manage to get out of there and use the tab escape, and now they're switching back onto Sunshower, and look at the Bears' HP. He's healed right back on up.
Well, who's policing the police coming? Who's saving the savior? Ocean was almost on the back end of a world of pain, and now look at this Heavenly Dance coming out here from the Blade Dancer Sunshower. Darkenmaster taking a lot of damage. The Thrall comes in and tries for the save, but there's a lot coming out from the side of Lethal here. The tag out is good, and Sunshower goes back to the bench. In comes Darbears, who currently has the advantage here in this fight, 52 to 38 in terms of HP, but overall, Team Guardian, I'm liking them a little bit more in terms of damage as opposed to Lethal here at the moment. Ocean, breathe on Ocean, and Ocean will die at the moment. So Darbears, I mean, if Ocean makes the mistake of coming back in, granted there's no more assist, but an accidental tab, or was that a missed leech? It was, and forces the tab out, the swap out. Riven comes back in here on the Blade Master. Now that combo was dropped.
Yeah, so now stuck on him. Blade Master's gonna have to look for good ways to get the engage, but once again, Bears has both of his escapes up and available, so getting the combo up is gonna be anything but easy, I would say, for the most part, as he throws that 5-point strike on into the decoy from the Bears. Now stuck up against the wall, trying to play it safe. Bears is biding his time. He knows he doesn't have to go in. The Blade Master has long cooldowns, and he can wait for as long as he possibly needs. Does manage to connect out the body swap, gets the force stun as well up into the aerial. I keep coming on him here for the aerial, stuck in the aerial. Boom goes the Blade Master. No save going to be available as Ocean is going to get CC'd out as he tries to come in here for the save. The guard break is going to come down. Ocean down to 13% HP, and one lightning draw could very well mean his life. So he's got to be really careful. Does manage to get on in the loop. The Sunshower being very patient here with that tab escape. Not going to have to quite blow it yet. Does manage to just SS right out of that Destroyer ultimate as well. Now charging forward. Knows he's got the advantage. In on the aggressive Falcon. Not going to quite get the connection. Maelstrom will keep him alive, but right here, you can see already Darkenmaster's trying to get back in, but he's not going to be able to do a whole lot there as he escapes out of the range of that ultimate, unfortunately, there for him. So not going to be able to quite get the connection. 10% only left on Ocean, and out he goes with the lightning gun, knocking him back. right now, Sunshower is showing why Blade Dancer could be so dominant.
Oh, Sunshower 2G, and I tell you what, he blows the ult as well and just makes short work of that thrall. Dark and Master now forced to bring it back. Now, sorry, it's actually Ikini's thrall who's come out now. Dark and Master has no defense. He's got absolutely nothing. Tabascape has just been used, 30% HP. All Ikini has to do now is put the icing on the cake, and that is GG Guardian. Take it convincingly in the end. But I tell you what, Gummy, up until a couple minutes ago, I was concerned that could have gone anybody's way, but well done to get for you.
Yeah, Guardian, of course, being really strong. They've been together for a long time. They know what they're doing. Even when they're behind, they know how to get themselves ahead. Right there, they had all the right plays. They had the opponent's number. And it's just simply what it was. They were downloaded. They knew what they were doing, what they're coming into, and what they had to play against. And honestly, they played out to the weakness. I think the really big thing there was I don't think the BM really got off a whole lot. That was the big thing you have to kind of watch out for. The Blade Master had a really hard time getting in. The saves were maybe a little less than optimal. They weren't all too bad though, but when the Blade Master was in, this is the key point. I want to pick out that the Blade Master, when it got dropped in the first time, it was dropped down to nearly 20% HP and immediately had to tag out. And then on the next end, they ended up dying. So what's the problem here? The Blade Master really having a hard time getting in on those aggressive plays because the opponent, they're just saying, hey, you're going to have to come to me. I'm not going to engage on you. I know you're waiting there with straights. You're waiting out to play up against the wall. We're going to be more patient because we know we have the advantage in terms of cooldowns.
So that is Guardian progressing through the winners bracket. Unfortunately for Lethal, they will go down to the losers, but if you like what they had to offer and you think they had a little bit more, well, don't go anywhere because on the other side of this short break, we have got Lethal going up against Whale for your viewing pleasure. There is only a few more games to go, so don't go anywhere. We're going to be bringing them to you very, very shortly. My name's Kickbox, joined by Gummy. We'll see you just on the other side. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is the North America Battle Brawl qualifiers here for Blade and Soul. My name is Kit Fox. I'm joined once again by Gummy Bear, my man. We are getting to the pointy end of day number 1. And if, ladies and gents, if you have just joined us, well, I pity you because you missed some amazing matches, but it's not all terrible. You'll be able to watch this after the broadcast has been completed. So go back, have a look at some of the great games, but for now, plant yourself firmly because we've got the final 2 games of the day coming at you. So, Gummy, having a quick look at the bracket. We've gone through the winners bracket. Generic Name and Guardian are the top 2 in there. And we need our next 2, our 3 and 4. Next, we've got Lethal versus Whale. And then after that, we've got Iron Monkey Trap versus The Way. But right now, Lethal, Whale. Who do you think's going to take this one? We saw Lethal go up against the juggernauts that were Guardian.
Yeah,
and I feel like we didn't get to see what they had to offer.
Yeah, I really think it can kind of go either way for the most part here, depending on it. They have the exact same team compositions, if you can see here. Destroyer and Warlock just have to flip, and then it's all lined up. But it's not perfect, unfortunately. But yeah, that's going to be the really big thing to be watching out here for is who's going to be able to play the team comp better. I really think the deciding factor is primarily going to be the 3 versus 3 for the most part. I think the 1 versus 1s could probably kind of go either way for the most part. Just maybe who's ever feeling better today, I guess. And I think Whale definitely has a pretty good chance of coming out on top here, even though Lethal did make it through the winner's side of the bracket. I would say both of these teams are maybe more toward the equal side in terms of footing here in the tournament.
So we are going to have, for the first 2 1v1s anyway, Gummy, we're going to have a Destroyer versus Warlock. So that'll be interesting. And then we'll go into the 3v3. And, I mean, should we then go to the tiebreaker round, it's anybody's game. It won't be the BM mirror match. You can actually choose their player to throw in their champion, their paragon, who's going to be the one to bring it home. But we actually haven't had to see a 1v1 tiebreaker so far.
Yeah, we haven't seen the tiebreaker yet today, so let's not plan on seeing one quite yet. You know, a lot of people, of course, they want to end it as soon as possible, but if you're winning the 2-1 versus 1s, you usually are winning in a pretty dominating fashion is what we've seen here for the most part in the tournament. So let's see if that's going to keep up this time around. But our first set is going to be Darken Master versus Arishel here. So we're going to be watching the Destroyer versus the Warlock once again. Do you think Arishel's going to be able to put his mettle to the test?
I think Arishel is a little bit more better of a destroyer than Ocean, just because Arishel knows to close the distance against the Warlock here. And because when you can give your Warlock room to spread those wings and get those throwdowns, blow all your cooldowns, that's when you're really going to struggle. Already, you can see Arishel going straight for the jugular. 69% HP already for Darken Master, forcing out the Sanctum to start things off nice and early. He needs to be careful. He's actually caught in the gravity well here. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic grab coming in there, but now forces out the Iron Plating. So Darken Master just needs to compose himself a little bit, shaken after that first attack.
Yes, so right here we see the time distortion coming down, and Arishel does choose to use their tab escape in order to escape out of that. Now let's see if he's going to be able to survive the onslaught of damage that is coming on up. He's going to get knocked back up into the aerial block, but Arishel, 30% HP, but he actually gets hit once again up into the air. He's so low on HP, but now it's his time to shine, to go on the aggressive. Misses the tech chase, but unfortunately does land on knee. Gets the grab. Tab escape burnt out. No escapes available any longer here for Darken, and the onrush is not going to be Arishel. Leave the floor here with that red buff, which is nearly doubling out his damage output, and Arishel is going to wipe it all over here for Darken Master. He's 2-0 against those Warlocks here today.
Wow, that is how you do it. That Fury came out there, and like you said, red buff value. The HP just got absolutely deleted. Blink and you'll miss it. And Whale coming out with the victory there. Huge play there. So Destroyer against the Warlock. Again, depending on what skill tier that you play in the arena, lower tier, you would think, hey, Warlock versus Destroyer, I've got this. Warlock, no worries. But at this top level, the Destroyer has the advantage over the Warlock. Get in close, get your fists dirty, get that axe bloody, take down the Thrall, and limit the options of the Warlock. It's exactly what's happened there. Well done to Whale.
Yeah, I think the really big thing here that you have to kind of be considering, though, is Arishel managed to stall out long enough. The big thing here is it's do or die time for the Warlock when the time distortion's being burnt out. And honestly, Arishel being able to save his tab escape allowed him to stay healthy for so long that he managed to get enough HP to get through the next end. But let's see if on the opposite side here, if Ocean can pull out the same success that Arishel managed to bring out here for Whale. Red buff is going to get burnt out already. We do see the red spin coming down as well. It does manage to get off a successful stun here onto Sayuri, but we do see the Thrall just waiting out, and it's still not quite dead yet. It's not really threatened. Red buff is down. The red spin not doing a whole lot here for Ocean anymore at this point in the game. Stone Shield not going to be getting that buff off here for him anytime soon. The KD does manage to come out. Tab escape is burned, and time distortion isn't even used yet. Leash does unfortunately move there for him, but he does manage to get the KD as well into the imprison. Now launching him back up into the air. Sayuri getting a lot of damage, waiting to see how his opponent plays, and he's going to miss, unfortunately, there for him. And knocked back to the floor. She already down to 22% HP, and is not going to be able to get the return damage quite yet. Fury coming up in just a few seconds, but if he does pop the Fury, that means he's going to be taking more damage. He's going to need to get this catch. We do see here Ocean coming back in on the aggressive. He does go for the red buff, the parry. Not going to be able to take effect due to the red buff being out, and Sayuri is actually getting hit by a red buff himself this time around. And Ocean managed to turn it once again.
I honestly thought Sayuri had that one there, Gummy. I thought he had that one in the bank. But again, Destroyer value. That Fury is just turning the tide of these fights here at the moment. And I said that I thought that Ocean was probably the least talented Destroyer of the two. Definitely made me eat my words there favorably, because I love seeing a Destroyer destroy a Warlock. It's great.
Yeah, that's the really big thing. So, you know, kind of thinking in on it is right there, I thought he had the advantage too, just because he got the tab escape before the time distortion went off. But unfortunately for him, he was a bit too scared, I think, to throw those big critical cooldowns at his opponent, which is the really thing that kind of brought him up short. So we saw him get the KD, but he didn't really get to follow up with the second aerial after the TD ended, which was the really big deciding factor. And then Ocean managed to come back and sort of neutral back out.
So now it's 1v1, and again, commentator's curse, we're not going to be going to see the old 1v1 tiebreaker because first to 3 points, that means the 3v3 worth 2 points will decide the victor. Will it be lethal? Will it be whale? They have got two mirrored compositions, the Destroyer, the Warlock, and normally you'd say Assassin to round that one out, but it is in fact going to be the Blade Master for both of these two teams. Mm-hmm. And look, I'm a little bit disappointed that we lost our Soul Fighter nice and early on because we've seen a few games go the distance now where the ults have actually come into play. I mean, we've seen a couple Warlock ones come out, a couple Sim ones, and I would have liked to have seen it. But regardless, these games are delivering, and this 3v3 is definitely one to get your notepad out for.
Yeah, so we'll be seeing here who's going to be able to come out on top here. For the 3 versus 3, we haven't seen either of the Blade Masters do a 1v1 today, so maybe they'll end up 1v1ing each other, coming up into this next game. But it's going to be really up to anyone. This is going to be the win. You're knocked out of the tournament here, and you do not get to proceed on to tomorrow, because tomorrow will only be top 4 out here in the North American Battle Brawl. Openings will be coming out here from Darken Master and Airshell, and both contestants are finally out and underway. Bastion already going to get killed, is going to get broken by the prison. We see him getting launched up into the air. He's going to get saved out here by his ally as well, now charging on forward. Does manage to try to get that deflex block, actually, just because he wants to have that 3-second sort of Maelstrom effect HM block instead. Going on in with the knee, ends up getting thrown up into the air by the Thrall. Unfortunately, it's going to get hit back down to the floor. And
parry!
Parry! Again, and Airshell trying to go on the aggressive, but now stuck on a back foot. Gonna have to blow that blue buff just for its iframe. Now SSing and backing away from his opponent, but the time distortion is already burnt out on the side of lethal, which is not good for them by any means. As now Airshell can go forward on the aggressive, try and get the catch, and the stomp is going to be coming on down for Airshell to resist the CCs, and Riven the CI frame is immediately dropped on in. But right here we do see the swap outs are on the side for Airshell, and right now we see him healing so much HP. But it really doesn't matter all too much to him as the CI frame does end up coming out. He's going to go into that red spin now, backing off, playing a bit more safe, and he's buy himself time here. We see Kid Quality now dropped on into the arena, and here's that Blade Master 1v1 I was waiting for.
Ooh, flock of blades now coming out here on the side of Riven. That's Riven on the blue. Kate Baldy is on red. Can he make it work here? There's no searing slash from Riven, but like we said, that flock, will it be enough? Oh, in comes the Destroyer with that iron plating in for the save, and now the tag will come out. So it was short-lived, but you got it, Yummy. But now we're going to have Warlock going up against Playmaster. For now, into the Sanctum, the Thrall goes in, tries the Gravity Well, actually collects Kate Baldy here. All the ground ripple. The Rupture just missing there, and now Darker Master will pull the Thrall back and play the long game. Kate Baldy trying to close the distance here, and already can see him just turning his attention to that Thrall with the Dragon Tongue combo, doing about 40% HP. But this one is still tit-for-tat gameplay here, Gummy.
Yeah, so right here we see him going in, and Darken Master's still stuck on the floor. Barely getting saved out there, but he's still trapped, and he got hit by the smash. Oh. Darken Master dropped so dangerously low. We see Sayuri coming on in here, and Darken Master just breathe his direction. He's going to be in a heap of trouble, but right now, this is the really big thing I want to point out now. So Sayuri still with 2 tag outs as the Warlock, whereas on the opposition on Lethal, they do not have one on the Warlock anymore. If he ever gets dropped in, he's going to be stuck in. He is so low on HP. He does have room for healing off of things like the time distortion into Bastions, but it's really dangerous if they don't have something really large like the Sin's Chi Smoke to really help him out here. So Sayuri is playing back. He does not want to go to the wall. You know, fear of wall bang is going to be prevented from that, is prevented from the Destroyer. No escapes are available any longer as the time distortion is not coming back on in for the resets. He does not want to hit into that as it is a sheath effect. Prison will be landing in onto Darken Master as well, but the time distortion is not going off for his side as Ocean immediately has to burn his tab escape, and he didn't get it reset again. So now he's down, losing cooldowns even at this point. Now having to wait out, buy himself some time. Unfortunately, the Stone Shield is not going to get the sheath effect because he does not reset the global cooldown here for himself. Now Sayuri being really patient, waiting out, biding his time, waiting for the moment, gets the leash, gets the stun, trying to get the aerial. Riven now goes in with the Z-Pull into Lightning Draw. Not going to be able to get a whole lot there off of that, unfortunately, because he was hit by the stun himself off of that aerial. He's knocking him back, gets the axe throw, and now he's going to be able to swap out whenever he wants, but he's still stuck in the game. He's caught out, and he's trying to escape a Riven. Now back in, trying to save out his teammate, and he actually has a Phoenix Wing up here. instead of having the usual block of plays constantly knocked back here by Aeroshell's red spin, the guard break is going to be coming in, throwing him to the floor, doesn't care about that ground counter because he's on his Ember Stomp. Tapskep is burnt out here by Riven. Now on the back foot, no escape available in reset, yet still not at hand here for him.
Hush just falling across the map as these two players just size each other up, gauge each other out, and it's 5 minutes and 53 seconds ticking down. Still anybody's game at the moment. Whale with a slight advantage in terms of HP. They've dealt a little bit more damage to Lethal, but Riven holding onto that ult, just waiting there as a Blade Master. Like you said, no flock of blades with that Phoenix Stream, but huge combo Searing Slash and the Iron Plating coming in clutch. He's stuck right in the middle of there, and there's a lot of damage coming out, but the tag is good, and Riven is saved by Ocean. Whale definitely turning it up here. Lethal now, they're the ones taking damage. Ocean spin to win like the fidget spinner he is, but Arashal, with a good pile driver there. 28% HP now. Will the tags come in? They're just going at each other like the old school Beyblades of old. Now Ocean jumps, sorry, that was Arashal that jumps in there. Now in comes the Warlock. Dark Master to provide some assistance. The Time Distortion Sanctum on the assist coming in will just assist Ocean a little bit there, getting that Stone Shield up, and there it is, coming out now, providing much survivability. All the axe throw misses. Oh, it actually catches now. This could be dangerous. The knockdown, the knock up even into the pile driver could have been more, but Kate Bordy was lucky to get away with that one, I'd say.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, being able to survive with that much HP after the ultimate just is definitely really big here for him. He does end up using that HM block to be a bit more defensive, and again, Whale does still have the advantage with Z-pull, unfortunately thrown on into that C iframe, which is definitely a cooldown you do not want to be missing here. Now going to be coming in to force off that tab escape, and now Riven in on the aggressive. Has to be really careful. Ends up using his ultimate, and it's unfortunately wasted his for. So here he drops on back in, so it is on their last tag out, but Riven is stuck in on the game. This is really big here. No more tag outs available for Lethal, so Sayuri has a really big advantage, especially coming into a favorable 1v1 between the Blade Master and the Warlock. Stuck here, having to get saved, knocked up into the air, and the return, trying to come back to deal damage to Sayuri, but Riven's down to 14% HP, and now he's no longer able to be saved, and that smash from Aeroshell is going to be able to clean it out there for them. Sayuri setting up that Time Distortion, but she will be keeping Ocean safe for a moment longer. But again, I want to keep in mind the Time Distortion was just used to block, and they can go to someone else to give them the Time Distortion for later. Sayuri just now just needs to buy themselves as much time as they possibly can, and Quality does still have a save on the table as the Destroyer jumps in with 2 escapes still available. It's looking really grim here for Lethal.
It is. That pile driver, though, just might turn the tide a little bit, but here comes Arashel. So much damage coming out, and now into the red spin. All he has to do is just stay glued to Dark Master and his thrall. Spin to win. Red spin, blue spin, all the colors of the rainbow coming out here now. Iron plating forced out. Whale looking to close this one. Dark Master, the only Warlock left. Can he do it? Oh, actually lands a good imprison there. But Arashel on that Destroyer, just definitely making his mark here.
Oh.
Now, in 3 minutes, we've got the interference coming up. The chains, are they going to connect? There it is! Big connection there from Dark Master, and Arashel is on the bench.
The really big thing was the fact that, you know, right there we did see Aeroshell didn't have any more iframes, and no one could save him anymore either, and he couldn't swap out. So now it's up to Cape Baldy to try to clean out the rest of this game and say, Sayuri does still have an interfere available, which is a really big thing to be watching here for it. They can go for that aggressive play. It is 2 versus 1 up against the Warlock, and Dark Master at 21% HP and no TD available. As Cape Baldy pulls him on in to finish him off here in the 3 versus 3 to claim that victory.
Well done to Whale. Definitely coming in clutch there in the end, Gummy. I thought Lethal were actually looking pretty good there, but hey, the 3v3, it definitely separates the boys from the men, the girls from the ladies, and I tell you what, Whale definitely lived up to the expectations there. It is now going to be Iron Monkey Trap versus the Wave, but just touching on that previous game, Gummy, you got any final words there for Lethal? I mean, they played fantastic.
You know, the really big thing is here, I think their saving was really less than optimal. Again, the big thing is here, we saw that with that one point where Dark Master dropped into like 10% HP, which is so detrimental to them. They need the Warlock to stay healthy for majority of the match. If they do get low, their comp doesn't have any good ways to really heal them up. All they have is the self-healing out of Bastion. That's why a lot of people opt for the Sin, so that they can use things like the Cheese Smoke if they do end up in that situation. So right there for them. They get put on the back foot. The Blade Master can't carry it through because their cooldowns aren't quite going to be able to bring it back if they are not landing them as properly as they need to be. So unfortunately for them, they're going to be knocked out, and looks like Whale moves on to top 4 for tomorrow.
Yep, Whale. But we've got our 3 decided. We've got generic name. We've got Whale, and we've got the way. Oh, sorry, not the way. We've got Guardian. Sorry, but who is going to be the 4th team to join Whale? Will it be the way, or will it be Iron Monkey Trap? I tell you what, this one could really go either way. But I don't want to see the way go out like this. I reckon they are top 4 material.
Yeah, most definitely. It's really arguable, where they are. I think they're one of the better favorites coming into this tournament for the most part. Iron Monkey Trap being a really new team, but the way obviously already having that experience from tournaments previously are going to be really dominant. And of course, up in the winners bracket, they had the way had to fight generic name, right? And both of those are really great and solid teams. But of course, there can only be one winner. So what are you going to do? You're going to have to climb your way through the winners bracket if you have a match of Titans so early on. So I think that's a really big thing, and Iron Monkey Trap is going to have their word cut out for them, hands down, in this matchup.
So let's see. I mean, we'll get the lineups on screen very, very shortly, but I mean, the way you've got big names in that lineup. You've got Yis, you've got Cassis, you've got Amor One, aka Aikido. And I mean, those players just scream experience to me, and they know how to gel as a unit as well. Granted, they might not have been together for that long, but they've been around the block. I mean, you mentioned it yourself, being a player in the NA region, everybody is extremely close-knit.
For sure. That's the really big thing. A lot of players here are kind of together. They really do kind of incorporate strategies and talk things through and see how each team is really doing when it comes to these top guys. So they make sure they stay really close-knit and that they can always have an advantage. There's always something new to try to learn from each of these games that they play in tournament. But looks like we've got our first set lined up, though, and it'll be Orbit Trap versus MR1, aka Aikido. So Sin versus Summoner. What are you thinking here?
I'm thinking Sin over the Summoner. I mean, Summoner... The Sin is extremely slippery, right? So the Summoner has one escape, and then you've got the Power Pounce to buy a little bit of time should it connect. If it doesn't connect, you're going to have a bad time. So I'm really liking, on paper, the Assassin over the Summoner, just by sheer statistics on this one.
Yeah, I think that's the really big thing here, is just that the Sin has plenty of tools to really time out the Summoner if they want to. They can use things like Ice Mine, and they have plenty of stealth to be going around as well. And what is Summoner going to do, right? They're just the heal. They're the heal bot, basically, of BNS. They have a lot of healing. They have a lot of sustain. They're hard to kill. You'll really have to burst them out if you want them to drop. They might have the lowest HP pool, but of course they can benefit from a lot of the healing to get back up to that 100% HP cap. But the thing is Bombard can obviously do a lot of damage, especially since Sin has so many AoE CCs. Things like the Shadow Slash, the Webbing, the Lightning Rod are all able to CC both targets. So they have a lot of good opportunities to deal in that AoE damage for themselves.
So let's get it on like Donkey Kong, ladies and gentlemen. This is the final game of day 1 of the North America Battle Ball qualifiers. It is Orbit Trap going up against Amor One. It's Summoner versus Assassin. And already you can see the Assassin value coming through. 50% chunk taken away from Orbit Trap.
Yeah, that's the really big thing we see. He's already down to half HP and he's getting chunked out in terms of damage. The Aikido does not need to have a huge CC combo if he really wants to win that. And there's the hook kick to knock out both targets, the bolt strike to land on both targets, and that's going to be lights out. And look at Aikido, 100% HP, and said, I am the untouchable.
Yeah, snap your fingers, blink and you'll miss it gameplay, and that was huge there from Aikido. So we called it. I mean, it's not a favorable matchup by any stretch of the imagination. The Summoner going up against the Assassin, and the way convincingly with, I think, about a 30-second round there, getting the first 1v1 over Iron Monkey Trap. And yeah, we said that the way it's a little bit unfortunate that they've actually found themselves down here in the loser bracket, but that's because they did go up against #1 seed generic name. So poor Iron Monkey Trap, they've come up against some extremely tough opposition here in the losers bracket, but hey, it's not all bad for them. They can still come back in this 1v1 and potentially the 3v3. Hey, they might even take us to that 1v1 tiebreaker round, which has eluded us so far, Gummy. Look, Not saying I'm disappointed about that, because the games have been absolutely phenomenal so far. Those 3v3s have been definite round closers, if you would ask me. But coming into this second matchup, who's going to go head-to-head here?
I'm really not too sure, but it looks like it's going to actually be Iron Shock versus Light Dancer versus Warlock, and I really do think that it can kind of tiptoe either way depending on how the BD is going to play. He is actually using that VI frame for the dual strike, but you're sitting already up in the air. The lightning draw honestly doesn't mean all too much. You can throw his tab escape, you can be safe, someone at the throw, and still have time distortion available. I think that's the really big thing here. So now Yasuni can't kind of go on this aggressive, but he does actually end up using the Brawl swap as well. Maelstrom burnt out, Guardian Tempest gone. All the iframes have disappeared, and Tab Escape's already burnt out by Iron Shock as Thrall comes on in here. Time distortion ticking away, and Iron Shock in a heap of trouble. Knocked to the floor, hit by an imprison. Up in the air you go from the floor once again, and Yasuni, why he is at the top of his game, and why he is the best Warlock here out in North America. Why he went to Korea last year.
You know what I liked about that one, Gummy, is that Yis sort of feigned a little bit there that he was in trouble. I mean, Iron Shock came in there and opened up on Yis, and Yis was like, oh yeah, oh, stop, please, ouch, it hurts. And then baited out the abilities, baited out the escapes, and then that time distortion came in, and then it was just salvos, helix, imprison, rupture, everything, the leech connected as well. And from then on, like you said, Yis, best Warlock in the NA region at the moment, and that his gameplay has now taken the way to a 2-0 advantage. All that stands between them and tomorrow's finals day is this 3v3 series.
Oh yeah, so that's the really big thing here. The Way is looking really dominant. The only way Iron Monkey Trap can come back is with that tie-breaking 1v1 if they can win the 3 versus 3. But these games have been really decisive for the Way. You know, they're just pressuring on forward really hard. And the big thing is that you know, right there in that match that we did see as well, you know, honestly, Iron Shock just wasted way too many cooldowns in the opener. You have to wait to burn your big cooldowns after the TD.
Very early lightning draw, wasn't it?
Oh, yes. That was the big thing, I think, is that, you know, sure, you force out the escapes from Yasuni, but they're just going to reset them back with the time distortion, which was the really big thing. And that's the out, you know, Yasuni really played to, you know, calling him the best Warlock in North America. He's been having that title for quite a while. You know, he's really good, really dominant. But let's also not forget about Aikini. You know, Aikini did win the mirror earlier on, which is a really big thing. Aikini is definitely a really top contender. And I honestly think out of all of the North American players, Aikini is the one that doesn't let tournaments get on his nerves. He's always the most calm, most ready, and most well-practiced coming into these things. So, you know, going up against people like that, it's really hard to deal with. You know, a lot of big names and hard players that you have to really try to play out and dominate against. And, you know, coming down here in the losers bracket, this is where dreams are made or broken. And it looks like the Way isn't having theirs crushed anytime soon.
No, but unfortunately for their opponents, this could be very well the last game they play here in the North America Battle Brawl qualifier. It is Iron Monkey Trap versus the Way, the final 3v3 of day number 1 before we get into the different format set of 7s for tomorrow. But it's going to be Iron Shock versus Amor1 to start things off. 10-minute timer starts ticking down, and already you can see Amor1 throwing down that Lotus of Escape, looking to find those Bombard techs as well. We've seen him utilize that time and time again, and the Ice Mine as well has been one that he's pulled out.
Yeah, so right here we see Sin trying to play out the neutral in the opener. He's going to get knocked down by the BD, but unfortunately I usually think he does have the advantage here with that saves already coming in from the side of Iron Monkey Trap. Not even having the Tab Escape blown yet on Iron Shock, which is a bit odd in itself. Usually you want to blow Tab Escapes first, but I guess they're opting to keep him up and ready in the neutral and threatening at all times. But this gets already burnt out here for Akito, but right here Yasuni coming in, being the ally he is, to heal out and give his ally some good old resets. You know, down mine's not going to quite get the connection with the body swap. Most definitely will. Tab Escape already burnt out here as well, and Summoner getting dropped on in. Right there we are going to see the True Friend getting popped up as well, but Akito with both escapes still available. One tag out already used, putting the Way ahead. Usually a tag out is better in this sort of setup, so we'll see how it's going to be all going out here. We see the Bombard getting dropped down and throwing him up on into the air as well, and the aerial webbing will be keeping Akito safe as well, not having to swap on out with the flower in the 1v1, but Shadow Slash going to throw right on into this Dandelion. Unfortunately, the camera going to be coming down as well, getting that LMB stun. The Daze Bomb is taking away on the Cat, and Iron Orbit Trap already getting dropped down to nearly half HP, but of course, being the summoner is just going to heal a lot of that right back up, and here comes the natural swap for Aikido.
So Cassis now comes in, the Blade Dancer, off of his traditional Blade Master here, just trying something a little bit different as we've seen a few players do today, but Orbit Trap is now in, taking a lot of damage. Oh, in comes the cat. Cassis now taking a fair bit of damage there, up in the air. The Daze comes in. Oh, the tag is just in the nick of time. Amor 1 comes back in, and now Orbit Trap is on the receiving end as the Warlock comes in. That's Yis dealing so much damage there on the assist to Amor 1.
Oh.
Well, the tag out is good, and Iron Shot comes in to save the day here. 7 minutes, 39 seconds, ticking down the way. Currently on the back foot a little bit here. So now Iron Shock is in there. This is where the Summoner Sustain finds value in the 3v3s coming.
Yeah, this is the really big thing. So they're going to have a lot of sustain and a lot of healing. But the big thing is, too, Cassis can actually heal up a lot if he does get a reset with this time distortion, as he can just use Guardian Attempts to heal himself back up. But Aikido, we do see, he's actually in on that blue buff. So he's being really lenient with using the tab escape, as he knows he's going to need to use that blue buff to his advantage for the extra stealth if he wants to come out on top here. So he doesn't have the extra escape. Going for some bombard damage, trying to get some of that close shave in as well. Not going to be missing that, unfortunately. Now Devil Monkey is going back in for more untappable damage, and he's dealing a lot out, and he just wants to go freely in with this bombard for as long as he possibly can. Now dropping that down, going to be using that Frost Prison to keep himself healed up, and Aikido waiting off to the side in the back, biding his time, and he'll be able to give him a reset real soon here, as long as he doesn't lose stealth. It's the party going.
Yeah, he's utilising these spinal tabs very, very well as well. Amor 1 is definitely dictating the fights here. He doesn't care what class is thrown at him here at the moment. He's able to handle it. Meteor Shower now comes out here from Devil Monkey. Yes, does not care. He just sits down there in that sanctum and says, thank you very much. What else you got? Now he unloads on Devil Monkey, who hasn't really got much in terms of survivability. He does have the second win now. It's been used. Forces the tag out.
Oh, the good
another day. Huge connection there from Yis and his friends onto Orbit Trap, and oh no, poor Summoner is having a bad time.
Nicely done. So they managed to kill out Devil Monkey there. Actually, when he had to swap, but then he had to interfere to try to immediately save his ally. But the big thing is they stun him on the swap. They know he has to get out because he's so low on HP. Now Cassis on the aggressive, even though he's low HP, he's not in any sort of threat range. Really can't do much. He gets the back, get on the interfere. Gets the outplay, immediately gets a tab escape out as well. Caught out though, managed to go back out, and he still has 3 saves. This is the really big thing here. They have such a long lead and advantage of getting knocked down by the poison breath. True Fred barely gonna keep him alive, gets that heal for 10% as well, but the CF I'm gonna keep Aikido safe. But the escape's available, trying to get the leg sweep, now having to swap out into Iron Shock, and he has no tab escape available. He had to burn it earlier when he was trying to save Orbit Trap. Parry doesn't mean all too much to Aikido. He tried to go for the crash, but the prediction is very not correct here. And unfortunately for him, he's going to get the X-Dagger. He's going to be caught out, gets the Shadow Slash, knocked to the floor, hitting into it, gets the decoy for the counterplay, trying to get back in. Is going to be picked up here, but Yasuni still does have the reset available here for Aikido, which is the big thing you have to be watching out for. Tab escape is still available. Yasuni also does have ultimate on their side as well as Orbit Trap. So big cooldowns to be watching here for in terms of the iframe game, but Orbit Trap has to use these saves in order to protect his ally because he is a single tab class and he can no longer swap out. But unfortunately for Cassis, he gets eaten alive by the ultimate. Trying to come in for the save, but Aikido still has tab escape, so looks like a slight miscommunication there on their part, and we'll see what Aikido is going to do with the properties. Unfortunately,
no escapes!
No escapes available, but the Sanctum will be enough to save him from the Blade Dancer, fortunately, here for him, and Aikido really needs to swap out now.
Yeah, he does. He just comes back into the fray. He's him versus Iron Shock, both at 100% HP. This one could go anybody's way here. Both of these players extremely skilled. Who will come out on top at the moment? It's Iron Shock that's taking a fair bit of damage. The Leech goes in into the time distortion. Is it going to be enough for Yis to close it out? No, Iron Shock has some survivability. Orbit Trap has got 1 assist up the sleeve. The fall in from the Warlock goes trying to catch Iron Shock out there, but Iron Shock just creates distance, starts spinning, gets those deflects going, trying to land a Soaring Falcon. Is this going to be the ult? Is that going to be it? No, just in the nick of time. Iron Shock was able to close it, and he's unable to land that big chunk of damage, but regardless, he's still in the advantage. And Orbit Trap comes in! Orbit Trap comes in! Is he going to be taken out straight away? Very, so close there. Sustain looking good. That growth seed, damn.
So right there, we saw Keto tag in for when the auto swap happens. They know they can catch out Orbit Trap right as he gets put into the game, which is really big there. So they get that huge half HP chunk of damage. The healing is going to be coming out from Orbit Trap, though, as the cat is going to be doing a fair little tiny dance off to the side. Not going to be doing a whole lot there, but Akito now tagged back in to fight off this summoner. We'll see if he's going to be able to maintain and manage his cooldown to be able to get the damage that he needs. As he is very low, and this is getting rather dangerous for Akito. Yasuni coming in, trying to save his ally, trying to knock down the opposition. Akito down to 22% HP. They really need to catch out the summoner here, otherwise the HP and healing could be really big here for Iron Monkey Chop. Trying to go in, gets the Shadow Slash, gets the Body Stop, gets the Dagger as well. Does not quite connect the mind of the party. Dandelion is going to save him. Gets the Poison, but then a huge chunk of healing out here for Akito. Tabaski is coming back up as well and tries to go for the ultimate. And the cat! Goodbye to Mr. Whiskers. You're going to sleep tonight. And it looks really grim here for Orbit Chop as they just play off of him for the cooldowns. And Iron Chop is now left alone here in the 1 versus 2 scenario. So he has to burn cooldowns to kill off right here against the Keto. Does manage to get the body swap as well, but Yasuni is going to have that time distortion once again back up and running momentarily.
To the wall. He's going to go to the wall. There he is. Throws him into it. Utilizes that wallbang mechanic. But, oh, straight away into the stun. The Bombard is good. Lightning Rod coming in clutch there from Umar1. And Iron Shock now on the receiving end of some massive, massive damage. The Lotus is down. That's a great web. The Fire Mine is going to go in for the catch here. The Bombard as well. The Juggle Play is good. Close shave. This is going to be game here. Iron Shock, oh, just gets away. Still has his escapes available. He's got a 1v2 situation here. He's got the reversal. He's got the Pocket Blades. He's got the Lightning Draw. He just needs the opening. Can he find it? Every time he goes close, the Assassin is just able to turn the tide of the fight now. The mine goes down. Umar1 trying to close this one out. That's the stun into the aerial. And the way Style points on the end. They take the win and they keep their hopes of being Battle Brawl champions alive.
There it is. The way manages to come out on top. Really well done out there by them. So they played it to their out, and we're right there at the end. You know, it looked like Iron Shock maybe could have turned it around, but the fact that, you know, he didn't burn his Tabaski, he took so much free damage out of that Bombard, and Poison Breath was dropped so low, and Akito managed to clean it out. And even if he gets the pick on Akito, he still has to walk through Yasuni, which is the really big thing to keep in mind. So the way 4-0 sweep, no upsets today, I would say, for the most part, and no 1v1 for that tiebreaker.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's still plenty of time for that to happen, Gummy.
Oh.
Still plenty of time for that to happen.
Awesome.
This is only day number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, there is so much more Blade and Soul Esports coming your way. Tomorrow, my friend, there is not only the North American Battle Brawl qualifier, but before that, we call it the pre-game because look, let's be honest here, depending on who you ask, it's either NA over EU or EU over NA. But we'll call that the pre-game because then after that, there is the North American qualifier. So that is going to be huge. 2 regions, 2 finals, 2 prize pools. It is going to be absolutely massive, Gummy.
Yeah, so that's the really big thing. You know, we're already in top 4. It's going to be really toe-to-toe. So to make sure you're not missing out on those games tomorrow. Here we are looking over at the brackets. Up in the winner's side, we have generic name 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and Guardian to face off tomorrow for our winners match. But down waiting out as well is Whale and The Way. And this top 4 is definitely one to be looking forward to. And I definitely do not want to be missing a match.
And you definitely don't want to be missing a match either, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll get the time for you, and that one starts tomorrow. We're going to have a quick squiz now at the schedule. Get the correct time. It's going to go live at 5 p.m. The first game gets underway. PST time, that one is. So make sure that you are available for that one because we will be. We hope to see you there. But Gummy, any final words for the audience before we take it out?
Thank you to all the participants that came to show up at Blade NS and play in the esports scene. And of course, thank you to you, the viewers, for coming out and hanging with us. And of course, thank you to our production. You don't get to hear them, but there's sometimes they're a voice inside of our head. Thumbs up to you guys as well, as we do appreciate your work.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. So on behalf of my co-caster Gummy, my name is Kit Fox. Thank you to everybody behind the scenes here at NC Software today, but that is not all done and dusted yet. We'll see you here tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, at 5 p.m. PST for the North America Battle Brawl Finals.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to Day 1 of the North American Qualifiers. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for the matches for Day 2 of the European Qualifiers starting at 10 a.m. PST, 6 p.m. GMT. And as always, we'll have the video up on our YouTube channel for your enjoyment at youtube.com/bladeandsoul. You can also enjoy Day 1 of the European Qualifiers as it's up right now. Don't forget to keep up with all the eSport news at esports.bladeandsoul.com and follow us on social at Blade and Soul on Twitter and Facebook. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. PST, 6 p.m. GMT.